right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mayong buntag, magandang umaga, mayong aga. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Let's see. I think I'm unmuted. I got my microphone on. Everything's good. I think I got my wind thing. I got the fan blowing on me, so I think the wind thing will work. So you guys want to hear that fan noise. But what's everybody up to? Happy 4th of July, right? Happy 4th of July. Yeah, 4th of July weekend there in the United States. I am at an Airbnb, so I think the connectivity should be pretty good though. I did some speed tests. Yeah, it looked like it was all right. So, anyways, new location, guys. Exciting times. Exciting times. I am living in it. Well, I'm in the process of moving to a new place. So we're going to dive into that. I'm going to tell you all about it, but it is exciting, right? New town, new area, whole new area to explore and ride around and go check out. So, but real quick, I just wanted to let's kind of back up a little bit and really kind of talk about, I've been in the Philippines, going on 3 years or so. And maybe over 3 years now. I don't know. What about you guys? I mean, since the pandemic, actually, I've just kind of lost track of time. Maybe it's since I retired or whatever the heck, I don't know. But I want to back up a little bit to kind of talk about really, just the last year. So August, a year ago, I had moved partially to Palawan Leyte. And you know what? Let's go ahead and let's bring that up on the map. I want to show you guys. I really like anytime I'm talking about a region, I want to show you guys. Oh, I need to zoom out because that's showing where I'm at right now. But yeah, so hold on one second. I'm just getting the map up here. All right, good. And then Airbnb Studio. Let's present, share screen, and Google Maps. Okay, share. All right, great. So, one second here. And then I want to turn off. I always forget where the hell that's at. Saved. And shoot, where the hell do you do that at? That's all right, I guess. That was really quick. I can't remember where to do it. Nah, shoot. Oh, well. You'll see my blue dots. Just all the places I've been or going to go. But anyways, so here is Palawan Leyte. And this is where I lived for, almost a year to date. We got a place there, right? A small, freaking really small apartment. And the thinking and the thought behind that was this would be a place that Mary Rose can finish her schooling. And then I could use as a crash pad, right? So while I'm kind of bouncing around and exploring the Philippines. So that was Palawan Leyte. That is where, so that's where I've been since August. And then what happened? Well, and I was maintaining 2 residents at the time, right? I had my really nice place over at Rockwell, there in Cebu. And so that lease expired in December. And so August to December, I had 2 places kind of bouncing around between the 2 places, right? I'd spend time in Cebu, but I was traveling around a lot. That whole November or whatever, I did the whole Negros Loop and then the northern coast of Mindanao, right? So that's kind of got us to December. And then what happened in December is a lease expired in Cebu and a new apartment opened up in the exact same building that we were in, and it was bigger. So I had just vacated Cebu City and I was ready to get out of the city anyways. I'd been there at the time 2 years on and off, right? So I vacated Cebu, moved to Palawan Leyte, which I just showed you on the map. And the thought was just the same kind of thing, right? This would be a place that Mary Rose can finish schooling and I could use it as a crash pad while I tour around. Super cheap, super inexpensive. Got all my stuff over there. So now here we are now, right? We're May, June, right? And Mary Rose graduated. So the purpose of that place for her to be while she's going to school has kind of been fulfilled. And so we've been in this inquiry now, as some of you know who I've talked to in person. We've been in this inquiry now. All right, what's next? Where do we want to be? Where do we want to go? And it's been a lot of kind of back and forth and around and just trying to figure that out. And we both really like Palmapan. I mean, our family's out there. I've gotten used to being out there after being there for almost the past year on and off, right? But really over the past several months, I was like, you know what? I actually really like it here. A nice little beach, friendly little vibe. I've gotten to know some of the locals. So we were just going to stay in Palmapan. And then we started looking at places in Palmapan and we found a place. And what had happened around that? It was great. New construction, freaking nice big 2-bedroom, big living space. It would have been a major upgrade from where we're at, because where we're at was really simple and small, and we had buckets for showers and that kind of stuff, right? If you've seen the videos. So whatever, I didn't mind. I'm actually really glad to have had that province experience, right? So anyways, we found this new construction place. I checked it out before I went to the United States. It was in May. And we were told, yeah, it'd be a couple months before it's ready. You know how that story goes, right? So now here we are, June, July. We get back from our Samar loop. We go to check out this new construction place, and there's no progress, nothing. It looks exactly the same as it did back in May. So we're like, oh crap, is this place ever going to be ready? And then in our current place, which is really only a temporary place, right? It really is. It's too small and just really isn't effective in a lot of ways. Air conditioning doesn't work so well. And what had happened is the AC actually broke. It's no longer working. So we're in this place that's too small, doesn't have AC anymore. And the place that we were looking to move to isn't even close to being finished. So that opens up to where I'm at right now. And I decided where, I looked at the whole exploration that I did in November. I looked at how much fun I had in some of these areas and cities that I liked. And I am in Butuan City right now. And I'm in an Airbnb. And I show you guys around here in a little bit. I think the camera will spin around pretty good. But I am looking at places in Airbnb. So in Butuan City. And I'm really excited about it. I really am. So I was back here with my buddy Jim in November. And we spent just really a couple nights here. And this was kind of where we met up, because he was out in CDO. And then we explored, you know what, I'll bring up the map. I'll kind of show you real quick what we had done. So we met here in Butuan City. And we had then we met here at the Go Hotel. We're right around here, I think. Yeah, Go Hotel. And then what we had done is we hopped on our bikes and we explored this whole east coast of Mindanao together. Just kind of hopped over here and rolled all the way down, went all the way down to Mati, right? And then I ended up going all the way down to General Santos, down in where the heck is that? Yeah, General Santos, down all the way down there. So that's kind of how I just kind of happened on Butuan. And, I really enjoyed it. I really had a great time here. I really like this size of town. It's, it's not a big town by no means. It's whatever, close to 400,000 population. So not a big town, good sized little community. Not a lot of foreigners or expats. And then really good housing options. One of the struggles, not just in Palmapan, but one of the struggles throughout the Philippines has been for me, where in the Philippines can you find good housing, good affordable, and abundance of it? Shoot, I remember whatever that was going on 2 years ago now when I was considering Dumaguete. Guys, I went over there and hung out in Dumaguete for a week, and I didn't see a single place that I would, live in at all. I mean, there were just disgusting places. One of them reeked of urine, right? And then expensive to boot, right? You're like 20, 30 grand for a urine soaked apartment. So just being in a place that's got a bunch of housing options was really phenomenal, and excited about being here. And I wanted to share with you guys one of the strategies that I've just learned regarding that. And that is checking out Airbnb. And let's see here. I want to see if, you know what, maybe what I'll do is, let's do stop share and then share screen. And then, yeah, here we go. Share. And this is kind of what I discovered. And one of the strategies that I think, I don't know, I mean, maybe a couple people have talked about it, but here's one of the things I never heard anyone talk about. So here we are. This is actually Cebu City. And this is what you could look at is what are the rental properties like in Airbnb when you're looking for these towns? And this is what I did in Butuan is I went out to Airbnb. I mean, there are just so many rental options here. You just take a look at this. Let's do a month, and we'll do search, right? And I mean, there are just, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, whatever, a dozen different options here. Now the map, it's just so many different options compared to like Palawan, of course, there isn't any. So it's just so cool. And then, you know, what you could do then is you could message these guys, and that's exactly what I'm doing. You can go in here and message these guys on the app and say, look, I'm considering a long-term rental. I'm here in Butuan. I'm looking at long-term rentals. Would you be willing to open up to a long-term rental? And boom, that's exactly what I'm doing. I've been looking at 3 or 4 places now. The prices are ranging from anywhere from 9,000 to 20,000 pesos. So I just want to pull up my converter here real quick to show you guys what that is. Calculator. So 9,000 pesos is not $9,000. 9,000 pesos is 159 bucks, right? And then 20,000. And actually the top place I've seen so far is a two bedroom house. That was, I think it was like 17.5, but let's just say 18,000 pesos, 319 bucks, right? So that's the price range, fully furnished, swimming pool. Yeah. So really excited about being out here and checking this out. Lots of options, lots of rental options, which, you know, coming from Palawan where there wasn't any, and then also too, just looking at other areas where there wasn't so much is really, I'm really excited about that. So yeah, in a new town in Butuan City. So it's been going great. I've only been here a couple days, right? I got here, this will be my second day. So I'm about ready to bounce over to another Airbnb today to scout it out. And they've got another place lined up. They said this particular place that they have isn't available, but they have another place in the same building. So really excited about that. And then I've emailed a couple of other places too, regarding some rentals. So I'm hoping here in this week, by the end of the week, I will have a place lined up, a place secured. So yeah, just super excited about that. 1 second, I'm just checking my security camera here. I have cameras set up in my old apartment, so they are motion sensor. Anyways, yes, so that is enough preamble. That is enough talk and discussion. We should get in the comments and talk about it all. What's been going on? Happy 4th of July. It's early morning. Richard, you are up early this morning too, aren't you, brother? Yes, I have been all over. So we had just did the Samar loop, Mary Rose and I. We rode, here, you know what? I'll pull it up on the map. And let's see here. Let's stop screen, share screen. Yeah, Google Maps. I'll show you what I've been doing, Richard, is we did the Samar loop. So we started off in Butuan City here, and then we rode this whole southern coast all the way down to, what's that, Calicon Island. Stayed at this really cool, stayed at a couple places, but this La Luna Beach Resort was just spectacular. Really enjoyed being there. Spent several nights there. And then we had cruised up the whole East Coast of Samar. You know, we just did the whole Samar loop. It was beautiful. Shot that video just recently. Shot several videos, but we did a ride recap talking about our ride, through that loop there. It was good. We enjoyed it. Probably not. There were some areas that were definitely amazing. That northeastern section, but yeah, good ride, man. Really good ride. We took just over 2 weeks to ride it. It took our time. Like I said, we spent 3 or 4 nights there in that location, and then a couple nights. And when I'm traveling like that, I don't like to drive to a destination, spend the night, get up and go the next day. I like to spend at least 2 nights in a spot. Sometimes more, most of the time just 2 nights. Get a full day off the bike, a full day to rest, and that's kind of how I like to travel when I'm doing these big loops. So that's what we had done. We just did that whole Samar loop, and it took us 2 weeks at a slow, comfortable pace to do it. Great ride, man. And Mary Rose did great. She's a new rider, so it was good for her to get out. Although she had said she enjoys being the passenger princess. Yeah, how are you doing, man? How are you doing? You're getting you looking at possibly the MT for your touring bike? See you on the road, man. Great bike, by the way. I think any ADV bike is the ideal for this kind of stuff. I mean, just really, really, really right tool for the job, right? Really just really good, man. But I hope you're good up there. What do I think about CDO? Yeah, Philip. So, I'd been to CDO back in where's my map at? There we go. I'd been to CDO back in November when I did that big loop I'm talking about, and it's all right. The thing I don't like about CDO is the traffic, and so just you really want to stay in the right place and avoid kind of being on the road. But there's a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic there, but yeah, there's some couple areas. There was an uptown, yeah. There's an uptown area that a lot of people were liking. I went to the Anytime Fitness there and worked out. Yeah, no, it seems all right. I think it's just a little bit too big of a city. It actually feels a lot like Cebu to me. But okay, okay, not a bad town, other than the traffic. And that I think you could just strategize where you're going to be living and kind of not go to the congested areas and just get to kind of know your way around the town. But yeah, if I look at CDO, yeah, I mean, if I were to choose to live in CDO or Cebu, I'd probably choose Cebu, just because the traffic I don't think the traffic is as bad there. And for me, I know Cebu enough where I can plant myself in the business park or IT park and not have to deal with the traffic, right? In CDO, I don't know the town that well enough where you could do that. So that's what I'm saying. You'd really want to strategize where you would live in CDO so you can avoid that. But not a bad area. Yeah, okay. I mean, they get really nice malls, lots of eateries, friendly place. It seemed to me. My buddy Jim stayed in CDO for a while, and it was a little bit he's similar to me, where it's just a little bit too big of a town, little too many expats and stuff like that. Where, yeah. So yeah, but not bad. 30,000 a month, like 530. Yeah. What was 30,000? Yeah. So the rents here are actually between 15,000 and 20,000. So yeah. No, things are pretty cheap. I don't remember what I said was 30,000. Wow. CDO, I hear, is really nice. Yeah, not bad, Philip. It's not bad. It wouldn't be my first choice, but that doesn't make it a bad town, right? It just wouldn't make it my first choice. If you're looking at big towns, if you're looking at big cities, Davao City to me is a great option. I think I'll live there at some point. I like Davao over, if I was to do it all over again, start my journey, I would start in Davao. I wouldn't start in Cebu, and that's just me though. Look, I moved here for financial freedom. I moved here to escape what I call like hate culture, right? And when I was in Cebu, I just felt like I was back in the United States in a lot of ways. I was surrounded by expats. I was surrounded by, it's like, what am I doing, right? And now that took some time, And you didn't have you don't have to necessarily do that. Like it took some time for me to get in that headspace. But that was the headspace when I ultimately left there. I'm like, gosh, I feel like I'm right back in the United States. So Cebu City, when you're talking about the business park and the IT park, BGC, Makati, I mean, those areas to me are for the expats who really don't want to leave the United States, and you can have those creature comforts. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing at all wrong with that. There really isn't. But that was my experience. And ultimately, I just got to a headspace of, this is exactly kind of why I left. And I would rather be around more Filipinos than Westerners. And that's why I like the provinces. I really loved being out in Palampon in many ways. So, yeah, CDO was great. CDO was fine. But for me, given why I moved here and what I wanted, actually, I wish I started in Davao. Less expats, and a lot of amenities. You've got really nice condos. You got modern living there, great restaurants and malls and stuff like that. A lot more spread out. So you do need transportation there, which is a drawback for the first time person coming to the Philippines. It's nice to get into like Cebu and that where you actually don't need transportation. Getting transportation is a little bit of that's a whole nother circus and hoops to jump through in many ways. Driver's licenses and registrations and things like that. Not impossible, but it's nice to get in an environment like that and like in Cebu where you don't need to think about that, right? At least initially. So, but yeah, CDO is great. But yeah, like I was saying, if I was to start it all over again, knowing what I know now, I'd probably start in Davao. Yeah, right on. Congrats. Finances are my prime motivator in my journey out of America. Yeah, that was it for me as well, Chris. I'd gotten in a really serious motorcycle accident, right? And I spent 3 months at home in a wheelchair recovering. And in that time, being at home recovering, I was like, what am I doing with my life, right? Like I saw in that moment that I was living my life for a freaking corporation. My life was all about work. It was. And I loved what I did, right? Don't get me wrong. I really did. I got a lot out of it. I got a lot out of it at the time, and I enjoyed the work that I did. And IT was a passion of mine, and it still is. But I saw in that time that where I was at home and that this is not my life. I get up every morning and I work 40, 50 hours a week. And the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed almost, I'm like working, Granted, I'm not officially working, but I mean, the first thing I did when I got up is I checked email. The first thing before I made coffee, I got my freaking BlackBerry at the time too, and iPhone also, right? In my hand, making coffee, going through my emails. That was my life, right? And when I sat in that wheelchair and I was at home, I'm like, I need to make some changes here. And that's what I love about what I'm doing here. I want to get up and go ride my bike 2 weeks around Samar. I'm gone. I'm doing what I want to do, right? It's just so freeing. It really is. And yeah, I'm just, I feel really lucky and fortunate. So yeah, financial freedom, I'm with you. Freedom to have the time to do. But I want to say this though, it's important for us to kind of have a strategy or plan around that. I have seen guys who get here and be like, oh crap, now what am I going to do? Right? Similar deal where you've been a professional, you've been identified by who you are professionally, right? Like whatever, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, and then you retire, and now what? So you really want to have a strategy and a plan. All right, this is what I'm going to be doing when I'm done. And that goes for anywhere in the world, right? When we retire, we, want to make sure we've got, and that's for me, that was YouTube. Yes and no. I mean, it's become that. I didn't really, I thought I wanted to do a channel, but for me now, YouTube is just a hobby that keeps me busy. It keeps me occupied, keeps me engaged. Learning all this stuff with the editing and the software and cameras and stuff like that. That's all new to me. Flying the drones, really enjoying that. But that's kind of been my deal, as well as health and fitness. But I've kind of been laxed on that, but I'm getting back. I actually looked at gyms yesterday. Oh, oops, sorry. Moving the camera around here. Yeah. How is it now that Mary Rose is out of school? So she graduated, Matt. She graduated with her degree. She has a degree in industrial engineering now. So she is no longer tied to Palempong, other than, her family's right near there, right? So yeah, that's how she's out of school. She's graduated. She's what, 22 now? She's gonna shoot me. But yeah, so she's finished her 4-year degree. She's out now. Kind of what she's doing, and that was part of that inquiry too, right? With her, it's like, hey, do you want to go back to school? Do you want to get your master's? Do you want to, go teach? What do you want to do, right? So she's in a very similar in-depth inquiry as far as what's next, like any recent college grad would be. So, and that was the conversations we've been having too. It's like, well, and at one point we were like, well, let's just stay here. You can go back to school in August. You can get your master's, right? So she looked at that and she talked to her advisors. She talked to that, and all of them, I think it was 2 or 3 people she had that conversation with, suggested the same thing, which is go work for a year, 2 years, then come back and get your master's. So then once things kind of aligned up, it was like, you know what? We should get out of Palempong. We should look at Ormoc. We should look at some of these bigger cities where she can get work. So that's kind of been what she's been doing. But yeah, so yeah, that's how she's out of school. She's graduated. Richard, hey Richard, what's up, sir? How are you? Hope all is good there. I assume you're in the United States and having a good Saturday night. I'm well. Got my club name, Vintage. Nice. Yes, still looking at the adventure bike. Have a new almost puppy. Oh, good for you, man. Yeah, that's hard, man. I know you had lost your dog, so but glad you've got a new dog there. Oh, good for you. Dude, as far as the riding and the bike segment, I mean, this middleweight, lightweight adventure series is just exploding, man. It's just exploding. The CF Moto 450 MT, the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I mean, these bikes are changing the market, man. They really are. Now, KTM's got a 390 Adventure, right? There's just a lot of bikes that are coming out. I think Honda is supposed to be, or Kawasaki, or Honda come up with a baby African twin, the 650 African twin. Kawasaki, I remember at EICMA, going almost a year now, did that announcement of their 2-cylinder adventure bike. So that was it was kind of in a box, right? They didn't really show it, but yeah. So this middleweight adventure bike series, excuse me, is blowing up. Yeah, exciting. And guys too, so real quick, talking about bikes and motorcycles, Richard's got a passion for riding like myself. And yeah, despite my accident, I'm still definitely a motorcyclist at heart, and just really love riding. And that's what I love to do in this country, is hop on my bike and ride. You've seen my videos, you know that. And there's some this is a really different riding style here in this country. Really different riding style than the United States West. Really, I think a lot of places in the world. And what do I mean by that? It's just, and anyone who's rode a motorcycle for a while knows this. It's very much like shoes, right? You don't want to go run a 5K with cowboy boots on. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a nightmare. So motorcycling is very much like that. They're very specialized. You wouldn't want a freaking Goldwing here. There's just the really type of machine that works well here. Like, running shoes for running road races, right? So with that said, these smaller displacement bikes are really ideal here. Super ideal, man. Just the lighter flickable bikes, but also too, something with a suspension, because the roads conditions aren't perfect. So like these ADV bikes, man, they're really solid out here. And honestly, that Honda ADV 160, which is a scooter, is really a great machine. Now I'm glad I've got a motorcycle, but this, this lightweight adventure series that's really kind of bouncing up here is just phenomenal. I'm really, really excited about that, and the bikes that are coming up. The 650 African Twin, I've kind of got my eye on. I think it's a little bit too much machine here, and just because, guys, for me, I hardly get above 50. I mean, sometimes I'll get up to 60 or 70 kilometers per hour, right? And I know, hold on, let's look at that. Hey Siri, 50 kilometers per hour is how many miles per hour? 30 miles per hour, guys. I mean, so when you're talking ranges of 30 to 50 miles an hour is kind of like your average, at least here. Now where Richard is at, it's a little bit different, right? Up in the Manila area, you actually have some interstates and stuff like that. But the rest of the country, you're actually riding 30, 40, 50 miles an hour typically. So having these big leader bikes, having these big machines just isn't really practical. That's why scooters are so practical. So yeah, a lot of great riding, a lot of great machines coming out in the future. I'm really excited about that. Hey, and your last video was Mary Rose traveling was awesome. All right, yeah, nice. You like that video, Richard? Yeah, that was a big accomplishment for her because she had not been, she's new to riding, very new to riding, has been riding, less than a year. And so we hopped on the bike and went. And what was nice about Samar is it was just really easy kind of ride, right? Not a lot of traffic, easy road. Well, there was parts of the roads that were not that great, but yeah, no, she's doing well. But she's discovering it's a lot of work. It's hard, right? Like being on a motorcycle, it's a challenge physically and mentally. So yeah, it was good. I'm proud of her for sure too. Hey Chris, are you staying in the Philippines on a tourist visa? I am actually. So how that works is when you get here, you get a visa on arrival, you get a stamp in your passport. Now, granted, you got to go through that eGov app and stuff like that, right? Jennifer Terry, I mean, she's got a whole channel that talks about this kind of stuff. So I highly recommend her. But yes, so you get here, you get a stamp on arrival, which is what, 30 days, I think it is. And then you can go on the website and you can apply for the extension. I think it is. It's worded differently on the first one. It's not an extension. Hell, I can't remember what it is, but you can do it on the website, and then yes, you can get, and then every 2 months you get more extensions and stuff like that, up to 3 years, and then after 3 years you need to leave the country. If you stay more than 6 months, you need to do an exit interview before you leave. And that's suggested it takes, you want to make sure you get a couple weeks ahead of time. So you've been here more than 6 months, you're flying wherever out of the country, you need to do an exit interview. So as soon as you book your flights, you want to make sure you get that exit interview lined up. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty rundown of the immigration. So but yeah, you can do up to 3 years. And then when you leave, that 3 years resets. Now, there are other options too, right? There's sorry, I'm just looking at that thing in the background if that's too distracting. Yeah, so there are other options too. You can get the retirement visa, and if you've served in the military, that's a really phenomenal deal. Really phenomenal. You can get it, whatever. You have to open up a bank account with a certain bank, and you got to put like 1,500 in there, 1,500 US, and then you can apply for a retirement visa. And man, that's the way to do it. There's other visas too. Some of them require 10,000 deposit if you don't have military service, with a pension of whatever 1,500 I think it is, and then 20,000 if you don't have any pension at all, right? So yeah, the visas are actually pretty easy out here. Are you eating healthier in the Philippines compared to food in America? I mean, Philip, I think you can. Some of the challenges that you can have with food here is just getting a good nutritional balance. So I try to take a good multivitamin now, just to kind of cover some of those gaps. But there's a lot of protein, there's a lot of chicken, there's a lot of pork. Fresh veggies can be sometimes a hard time to find, especially if you eat out. A good salad can be a little bit of a challenge too if you're out in some of these more remote areas. But you can eat actually a lot healthier out here if you're kind of, if that's your gig. You can have gardens, you could eat fresh veggies. I mean, Mary Rose and I would walk down to these markets and there's fresh fruits and veggies, all that. So yeah, I would say, Philip, if you're like, for me though, I'm not really a good cook and that kind of deal. I mean, I'll eat oatmeal for breakfast and chia seeds and that kind of stuff, right? So, but I usually eat out. But so if you or your Filipina are a good cook and you can shop at markets and stuff like that, get good veggies and stuff, absolutely. Can you eat so probably healthier than you've ever been because you've got fresh, really organic grown foods, right? So it's an option. But if you're a traveler and eating out all the time, just like in the United States, you might not eat as healthy or just the same. Yeah, great question though, Philip. Yeah, right, man. I'm also in the IT field. Worked in a hospital. Yeah, 7 years till I can retire, start biking in the Philippines. Seems like forever. Good for you, Matt. Oh, that's hard gig there. Oh, hard gig. I luckily was in the legal industry. And the legal industry, as far as IT, look, I highly recommend legal industry for IT work. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's the medical field is designed to kind of make money and cut corners as much as you can to kind of earn profits. The legal industry is about spending money to impress. And that kind of carries throughout the industry. So you can make money in the legal industry. I made great money I was I was a desktop guy, Matt. We provided white glove legal or white glove IT support for attorneys and staff, whatever. So I was paid really well to do really desktop support. I traveled all throughout my region, was I had Vegas, Aspen, Jackson, right? So I'm going to some really cool places. I had Reno, DC was another one of my offices. So I traveled around and did IT support for all these offices. And it was rock star, man. So I say that because, Matt, I know a guy who also worked IT and medical, and he just hated it. He hated it. It was just like, oh, it was so rough. But yeah, anyways, brother, I hear you. I hope you make it out soon to come check it out. Let's go for a ride, man. Excuse me. Did you ever take rides of northern Cebu? Yeah, Gene. Yeah, let's pull that up on the map. I have taken some rides on northern Cebu, and I'll show you kind of where I like in northern Cebu. And actually, if I look at Cebu, gosh, every time. Okay, here we go. Hide on my map. All right, good. So Cebu is okay, right? So the problems about Cebu is honestly Cebu City. And most of this coast is just traffic. All the way up to, I would say, Danao, all the way down to freaking Naga, or actually Car. I mean, this whole half of the island is nothing but traffic. So, but there are some great routes in Cebu. If you go east to west, this is the Trans Central Highway, and just look at that, right? I mean, come on. That's just really, squiggly road. It is a technical road, though. And honestly, it's kind of a little bit of a dangerous road in the sense that you've got a lot of traffic, and I would definitely avoid it on the weekends, as you got a lot of weekend warriors that are screaming up there on leader bikes, riding the center line. So just heads up on that road. But yeah, 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, you're fine. But avoid Monday, Friday, and the weekends on that road. But anyways, east to west on Cebu is really good. These roads are just gorgeous. North and south. If you're going to ride north-south on the island of Cebu, get over on the west coast. So much really nice here on the west coast of the island of Cebu. I mean, it's okay. The problem is that I've talked about on a bunch of my videos is it's flat, so you don't necessarily see the water so much. But definitely a better experience in the East Coast. But to answer your question, northern Cebu, though, let's see if I can pull up some terrain on this. I'm not going to show. That doesn't show it either. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Layers, terrain. Okay. So you can see here. Yeah. So I was saying east to west. Look at these mountains through here in the Trans Central. Freaking epic, man. Really good riding through there. And then as you get in northern Cebu, it actually is a little more of this rolling hill stuff, but beautiful, beautiful roads. I've been into Bogo a bunch of times. Yeah, here at the port. And then hopped over because it was a direct route from Palampon, and then rode down to Cebu. Gorgeous roads through here, right through the mountains. So yeah, I've spent some time. I've spent some time in northern Cebu. Nice. I also went over to Butuan Island, which you can catch just on the other side. So yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah, nice ride in there. Yeah, sorry, I got a little froggy. We're actually still, both Mary Rose and I are recovering from that dang bug, man. That took forever. Mm. All right, just got here. Where's the new home? All right, Danny. Yes, new home is Butuan. I'm in Butuan City. Pull up the map. Add a stage. And there we go. Let's see here. Yes, I'm in Butuan. So I rode through Butuan back in November. Met up with my buddy Jim before we actually rode the East Coast here. Rode down all the way this East Coast to Mindanao and ended up in General Santos. But yeah, so I'd really enjoyed Butuan. And so I'd spent the last couple of days here, rode down from Palampon, came down all the way down this peninsula. And this ride here, guys, this ride here is phenomenal. I mean, bye-bye all the way down to the San Ricardo port. Just gorgeous. Just beautiful, man. Really, really beautiful. That whole road, that stretch of road. And that's a good 5 hours of riding. And I probably wouldn't recommend doing that, excuse me, unless you're comfortable on the bike. So yeah. But that's where I'm at. I'm in Butuan City. Not a bad town, right? Let's see if we can pull up some information on Butuan here real quick. Let's see. I've got a. Let's see here. Tell me a little bit about Butuan, things like population, industry, and so on. I think it's right around 400,000. Yeah, South of it. Yeah. Oh, where? Oh, a lot more. Okay, cool. They've got updated population stats here. Population's 800,000. Yeah, population so close to 1 million. Yeah, great. Oh, wait. No, that's not right. Hold on. That's freaking China. Let's see. Butuan City, Mindanao. I am in the. All right. Okay. Yeah, so right around 400,000 as of 2020 census. There's a river kind of runs through it. It's historically known as the Timber City of the South. Interesting. Yeah, it's this big lumber and logging. And that was one of the standouts for me as I'm thinking back to my trip. I did notice a lot of, as you're driving down the road, you see a lot of cutout trees and things like that along the road. So that was kind of pretty cool to see that. So it does have a lumber kind of logging feel to it. Yeah. So anyways, that's a little bit, historical culture tracking back to the 10th to 16th centuries. Wow. Yeah. I think there was something about Magellan I thought may have landed here too. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so great little town, man. I'm digging it. Thanks for being here, Danny. Appreciate it, man. I was just riding a scooter, and the guy I was talking with said most people rarely break 100 kilometers per hour. Dude, absolutely. No, you're right on. I don't think I broke. Well, maybe I've gotten there once, but just because I was trying to, right? But yeah, most of the time I'm riding anywhere from 30 to 60 kilometers per hour. I'm in fourth gear most of the time on my bike. I hardly ever get in six. Sometimes I'll get in sixth gear. Here's the thing about that, right? Now there are times where you can definitely ride faster. It's just the environment here isn't used to it. It's really not. So it can be dangerous. You know, the dogs aren't used to objects moving that fast. Other people aren't. So you can get yourself in a bad situation pretty quick, I think, moving super fast on these roads. And sometimes the road conditions aren't ideal. So you really want to know the road, kind of what's going on with it. Yeah, I mean, you've seen videos, right, of me shooting that, and boom. I mean, we just shot the one recently where the lane just disappeared, gone, right? Gone. I mean, washed off. So that happens a lot. Or you got a freaking telephone pole smack dab, or a dog, or a carabao, or whatever, right? And just, yeah, the speeds are super slow. And that is a big factor in your riding and in your purchasing of a bike. I mean, could you imagine like a freaking Ducati monster or whatever? It's just, you couldn't ride it, man. You couldn't ride it. So you really want to buy that bike that's good for it. You know, you don't want to run a 5K with cowboy boots on. You know, so really getting that ideal bike for the riding here. That's why Honda ADV 160 is right there. It's a great bike. These lighter weight, middleweight adventure bikes are really phenomenal for the riding here. Yes, a new one, a new city, a new home. We're in Butuan. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I should have some videos coming out. I haven't shot anything yet. I've really kind of taken YouTube back as kind of I just do one video a week now. You know, guys, I'm retired. This is a hobby. This is fun. This is meant to be engaging. This isn't meant to be a second profession. I'm here to enjoy myself. So yeah, I'm just kind of chilling. I'm having fun with it out here, but I should have some videos. Like I said, I haven't really shot anything, but I will. I'll shoot some stuff here. Maybe I'll shoot this Airbnb and just kind of talk about rental strategies and moving and using Airbnb as a tool to kind of nail down some places. Yeah, I could shoot that video for sure. I'm getting a good education of what type of bike I need there. Yep. Been on a Harley rider my whole life. Not practical there, though. You're absolutely right, brother. It's not. It's not. You wouldn't want a Harley here. You wouldn't want to. Honestly, I don't think you necessarily want anything bigger than 800cc. I really don't. I mean, yeah, a good tour, a good ADV small displacement tour, the 450 MT, the Himalayan, my NX 500. Those are good bikes. Something with a little bit of suspension that can absorb some of the potholes and stuff on these roads. Great bike. Maybe the new 390 Adventure, KTM 390 Adventure. Another factor in this, Richard, that I'm struggling with now is service. You know, you want a bike that you can work on. You want a bike on that's easy to work on, stuff like that. You know, I can't even get my oil changed here, Richard. You know, so and it's not a problem if you brought tools with you. I don't even have a freaking oil wrench, right? So I'm out kind of finding all this stuff now, so that way I can at least change my own dang oil. And then so you want a bike that you could wrench on and then get tools. Or if you don't want to do any of that, right, then you're looking at a Honda ADV 160, because you can get that bike worked on anywhere and everywhere. So, and that's Richard, and I don't, for the rest of you guys too, that's the life I was in the United States. I had two bikes. Well, I had three bikes, but my last two were the KTM 790 Duke and then the Tanneray 700. And I rode the piss out of those bikes. And the last thing I want to do, especially on my Duke, right, was to wrench on it, mess something up, and freaking get myself killed. So I would just take it to the dealership, whatever, 2 to 3 times a year, because I rode a lot. I put on like 12,000, about 10,000 miles a year, because I had a car, but I mostly rode, right? So I was that guy that I would just take my bike in, you know, whatever, every probably 4 months or so, and said, hey, let's change the oil, let's run through the bikes, make sure it's good. And so that's not something you can necessarily do here unless you get something that's serviceable, like an ADV 160, where there's Honda dealerships everywhere. Now, I have a Honda, I have the NX 500, but they don't work on big bikes. So I can't even get my oil changed at the Honda dealership right down the street here. They don't have oil filters. They don't have, you know, so it's just like, man, it's a little bit So if you're not a guy who wants to wrench on your bike, then Honda ADV 160 is another kind of thing to look at there, right? Yeah. No, the picking the right bike, is key, as we all know, as what we've been riding around. Yeah, Thailand and Vietnam are easier to eat healthier diet. Yeah, Danny. Yeah, no, I can see that, but you can also do it here, especially like I was saying before. If you cook, or if you're Filipino cooks, you could eat super healthy. I mean, you have access to fresh fruits and veggies and meats and stuff like that. But if you're like me and you like to eat out and do stuff like that, the local cuisine, the restaurants and stuff like that, you're right, is a lot more healthier than like the Filipino diet. But again, you have access to really fresh fruits and veggies. It's just whether or not, are you a cook or not, right? And I say that because there's a lot of talk about this, and I think it's just important to distinguish. You can eat healthy here, you really can, and the local cuisine, if you eat out, might not, versus Thailand or Vietnam, where you can get really healthy diet everywhere and anywhere. Yeah, fruit is high in sugar. Yep. Dating a local, having them teach you how much all the fruits and vegetables should cost is a life hack. Yes. Yep. Yeah, there's so much you can learn, right? I mean, I lean on Mary Rose a lot for a lot of stuff, as far as, figuring out the local stuff. I mean, honestly, guys, I think living where I lived the past year, I don't think I could have done it without a Filipino. I don't think any of us really can. I mean, just getting your groceries and all that stuff. I mean, it's, knowing where to go. There's one shop, knowing where to get water, knowing how to, it's a different vibe out in the provinces than it is in Cebu and that kind of deal. So, but yeah, no, absolutely. It's a big help. CDO is too close to Marawi for me. Just too soon to trust an area. I'm just catching up. Yeah, it's interesting, right? So here in Butuan, I was talking to the cab driver, and we talked a lot about Mindanao and the safety and that whole deal. And look, and we want to go by the United States State Department, I think it is, and the warnings that are issued there. I mean, that's the authority, that's the expert. And there's some things to kind of think about and talk about in that. And I think sometimes Mindanao can get overplayed as unsafe and that, and it's not accurate. And they're, like I said, the United States State Department has listed areas that we should probably stay out of and avoid high caution. And I think that's accurate. But talking with some people who have been there, and talking with a guy yesterday, I mean, I know vloggers who go there and have shot that. And I think there are a lot of safe areas. There's some areas that are deemed unsafe that are actually maybe not so bad, especially for the for United States mindset that a lot of us have. I mean, crap, I don't know where you guys are from, but there were some neighborhoods in Denver that you wanted to be out of. Like, you did not want to go there, right? And we just, I think, and then all the mass shootings and stuff that we have in our countries, and I mean, I think we are a lot more safety minded, security minded than the people here. I really do. So I think having that mindset, traveling around this country, I think you're in good shape. Now, would I want to go to Marawi and hang out, or Zimbabwe, wherever the hell name that is? No. I mean, to me, there are more beautiful places that I would want to go to and hang out and do. And I know that's a pull for some. I was traveling with my buddy Jim. He's like, dude, let's go right over there and check it out. I'm like, we are two big white men, and I'm on a freaking NX 500, which stands out like a Ferrari. The last thing I want to be doing is driving through that area. But I think it gets overplayed a little bit. But I think it's always good to err on the side of caution, and especially when you're talking about an island and region of over 7,000 that you can go to. Why go to somewhere that's questionable? So but yeah, I think Marawi, CDO is fine in that relationship, right? Marawi may even be fine, but CDO, I wouldn't have its proximity with CDO be a factor. My not liking CDO is purely based on traffic and congestion that's there. That's my only thing about CDO. But yeah, I hear you. Do you still talk to Britt and Cebu? I have not talked to Britt and Cebu. I haven't talked to him in I don't know, in a long time. Yeah, I haven't really kept in touch with him at all. He's a good guy. He's just, there were some things about, so when I was there in Cebu and I was meeting with foreigners, I was really kind of present to what I wanted to convey, right? What I wanted to show. There was kind of that time when I was in Cebu and meeting guys like every week and twice a week, that there was a little bit of a responsibility and for me and wanting to set guys off on the right foot, right? There was honestly too a time where I was considering opening up a consulting business because I was just meeting guys. I mean, no kidding. There'd be guys at my meetups, probably 10, 15 guys sometimes. So, and you know, I don't know if you guys know Britt or whatever. I think he's vlogging and, you know, and I don't watch it, but Britt can be a little bit like loud and he draws a lot of attention to himself and a lot of attention. Like he'll be super loud in his singing and super loud when he's like on his bike. I remember this time we were riding through and he is so loud. He is like 3 bikes behind me and I've got my helmet on and I'm riding. I got wind noise. I can hear this guy singing at the top of his voice. And the guy's like probably maybe even like 40 yards behind me. Right. So, and I just kind of talked to him about it. I'm like, look, dude, you're a good guy, but you got to tone it down. You know, you can't be, I mean, the Philippines is a loud country in a lot of ways, right? But you need to be humble in some ways to be here. And, you know, I had people warn me about, I was like, Chris, he doesn't understand the culture. And, you know, he's a danger to himself and people he's with. So, in a lot of ways, I try to talk to the guy, but you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I just kind of moved myself away from a lot of that. So no, I don't really talk to Britt. I wish him the best. I really do, but I can't deal with that level of loudness. I just can't. And it's one of the reasons why I moved here is I wanted to be away from loud, obnoxious people. And so, no, I don't really. I mean, no hard feelings towards the guy. He's a good enough guy. I just got to a place where I'm like, look, and I didn't want to teach other foreigners that. That was my thing about him. You know, when he's all about picking up these girls and walking up to them, I'm like, dude, it's just not respectful. What if she's got a boyfriend? You know, so there was a lot of things that he was doing that I was like, I do not want to be showing guys this type of behavior. So we had gone our separate ways, but I wish him the best. I hope he's good. And he's a guy, though, that honestly, I don't see living here long term. You know, when I first met the guy, he was like, you know, he's really into, where are all the blonde hair, blue eye girls at? I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Do you not know where you're at? It was just so, and I think some of that's just an act, right? He likes to shock people and that kind of deal. But he can't stand bugs and he can't stand rain, and he's looking for blonde hair, blue eye girls. So, anyways, I you know, he's definitely a character. He you know, it's kind of like that Energizer bunny with the drums and the you know, walk around, boom, boom, boom. It's fun for about 5 minutes, and then you're like, where's the dang off switch? And that was my whole deal with that. And like I do wish him the best. I hope he's good, but yeah, I've kind of moved away from that. I live in northern Cebu. You have to go north. You live in northern. You have to go north is so good for less traffic. Yeah, I thought you were talking so good Lete. Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, I saw it on the map there for a second. Is that the now? Yeah, Port Danao. Yeah. You have to go quite a bit. Yeah, do. This whole coast of Cebu is just a freaking nightmare as far as traffic, and it's just it's not scenic. So what I would do a lot of times when I rode Cebu down to Dumaguete, I would just hop over this other coast and ride down. But yeah, northern Cebu is nice, nice little rolling hills and so on. So yeah, yep. Big og and fishing. Okay, doing some fishing. Cool. In the Philippines on cleared land. Oh, big on agriculture and fishing. Butuan. Yeah. Okay, I got you now. Yep. And cleared land. Yeah, and lumber. I saw a lot of that when I was riding around. They were definitely into lumber. Yeah, the first mass in the Philippines was held in Butuan. Yeah, Danny, I've been to that one church. Yeah. I thought I saw something about Magellan. There's still a lot for me to kind of figure out on this region. But when I was here before, I did shoot a video here, and it was a little bit of a rainy day. But we did make it out to that church, whatever that was from the 1600s, I think it was. And they've got these really interesting little boats too that I'll maybe shoot a video on too. So this will be home. I'm really excited, man. The riding through here is absolutely epic. I'll show you kind of on where I'm looking to go. So first of all, this Malay and Butuan, gorgeous. Can't wait to get up there and do some riding up through here. Let's see how far that is away. Malay directions. Yeah, so we got like a 5-hour ride to Malay. But this stretch here, man, I remember riding this from Hinog through this mountain region through here. Man, just beautiful. Yeah, Camp Zion there. I might stay there. I've never seen that. Just gorgeous, right through both of these big mountain ranges. I'm really excited about really good riding here. Really thrilled about the riding. It's going to be great. I can go down through Malay layer in the central region like I was just showing, get back down to Tagum, or even hop down through the east coast again. So lots of riding here. Hey man, I just got the CRF 300 Rally. Yeah, Troy. Did you get the 2025 version? Because I heard the 2025 version has the upgraded suspension. But either way, great bike. If you've got the older suspension, I hear it's a little bit soft, and you might just want to either change the oil or respring it. But yeah, phenomenal machine. I've looked at that too. Really great machine. I'm excited about it too. I've also too looked at maybe getting a little dual sport to do a little bit of off-road riding, but I just get a little bit like, I don't know, man. Being 50 and coming off the bike doesn't sound like too much fun. I don't know. Maybe we stay on the road, but yeah, we'll see. Since you're an IT guy, what do you think of the AI apps like ChatGPT? I freaking love it, Philip. I wish it was around when I was a kid. I freaking love AI. I use it for so much, man. I use it for so much. It's basically replaced Google for me. Just my everyday living, finding stuff, brainstorming. I mean, it's just amazing. It's talked to me about neighbors. Now, look, as a travel companion, it is so key and critical. So what I'll do is I'll do a screenshot of my route, right? So if I'm driving somewhere, I'll do a screenshot of my route. I'll upload it to AI, and I'll say, hey, tell me about this route, and what's the weather going to be like? It's just so powerful, so incredibly powerful. Or like a city, hey, my destination is this CDO. Where are some places to stay? What do you recommend? And then boom, unbelievable. I freaking love it. I'm a huge fan. I have the subscription to ChatGPT, the $20 a month, and I'm in it all day long and just asking it all kinds of questions. I'm using it now for my budget tracking. Like I'll put in my expenses right now. Freaking dig it, man. Dig it. Absolutely love it. For investing, I've switched over to some better funds now. Some better index funds. I was in some funds that were performing okay, but when I did the research, it's like, all right, yeah. So what do you think of this mutual fund that I'm in? And they're like, well, it was good, but there was the cost index was a little bit higher. and pointed to some other ones that I should look at. And sure enough, man, outperforming immediately. I just some nice Schwab index fund. I can pull up the name of it. Hold on one second. Yeah, SWPPX. It's basically Schwab's S&P 500 index is all it is, right? A no-brainer. And it's doing really well. Year to date is 13.5%. So, and the other one that I was doing was like maybe year to date 6%. I can't remember. I deleted it from my watch list because I sold it. I basically sold it and moved it over to the SWPPX. So that's what do you call it? Sierra Whiskey Papa X-ray. So yeah. I use it all the time, man. Freaking love it. How else do I use AI? I'm using it for this move, using it to tell me about neighborhoods. So Butuan is known for water issues. So it's important to be in an area that has good water, like you could run out of water. So that was some things that I learned about the neighborhoods. Yeah, I use it for budgeting. I'm just going to go over to my chat GPT. For tires, give me some research on tires, both the ADV and my NX500. That was great. Oh yeah, I looked up the One Big Beautiful Bill. I was like, what's this all about? And gave me a synopsis of the bill. Yeah, tire plugging, just Davao earthquake activity. Yeah. Medical stuff. Like my daughter messaged me about she had some really bad ear pain. I mean, just dude, Starlink, I looked up Starlink in the Philippines and the cost guide, if it makes sense, right? Just amazing, man. Freaking love AI. If you guys aren't dabbling in AI, highly recommend it. It's just such an incredible tool. And I think Deep Sync is what it is, right? Is that what it's called here? Let's take a look here. Yeah, Deep Seek. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? I think I could share the screen. Present, share screen, share. Yeah, so this one here is actually free. DeepSeek, it's web browsed. So, whatever. Recent earthquakes near the Philippines, right? So, yeah, tell me about recent earthquakes in the Philippines trench. I'm hearing about some activities a couple days ago. And boom, here you go. You got all this info. And here's what I like about it, right? You ask it that question, and then boom, here's the output. You don't get a freaking bunch of ads. You don't get a bunch of commercials that now you have to go through. You get what you freaking asked for, right? You get information. That's what I love about AI is the output. Now, there's a saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So what that means is you have to be good at telling it what you want. And I'm still learning that. I mean, people will make careers about prompt engineering. But yeah. So anyways, this is some of the stuff that I like with DeepSync versus ChatGPT. And hey, I normally use ChatGPT. What are the differences between this AI chat, what's available for free, and boom, here you go. And just like this is what like you're saying, this is what I absolutely love about AI is the output. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, you really want to take a look at. If you're not using it, jump in. It's just so phenomenally powerful. So phenomenally powerful for just everyday life stuff. Big fan. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, for newcomers to the Philippines, a telephone pole can be and will be in the middle of your lane. It's common. They don't move them to extend around the road. Dude, I shot that video, man. There it was, smack dab in the middle of the lane, freaking big old concrete telephone pole. Oh, that was freaking awesome. Oh, salamat kayo. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, honestly though, I am a fat pig right now. I am so out of shape. I was in great shape a year ago, and it all went to hell in a handbasket. But I'm here. I actually went to gyms already. Before I even got my apartment set up, I got my gym lined up. So it looks like it. There are a couple gyms in town. So yeah, I've got a couple gyms lined up. And, that's also too why I like this kind of size of a town. You've got more options. There's, when we were in Palapon, there was a gym, and you know what? Great, that was fun. Whatever, 1,200 a month for the gym there. And this one, by the way, is the one I looked at. That was 1,500 pesos. So 1,500. So the gym is 26 bucks a month. And if I wanted to hire a personal trainer, that was 2,000, added a 2,000. So unlimited personal trainer. So total, yeah. So that's the gym cost with a personal trainer a month. So 62 bucks a month. Can you believe that? Now, the gyms aren't as nice. They're really not. They're not a Planet Fitness. They're none of that, right? And so they're hole in the wall gyms, which, I don't know if you've been in it. Like I've been in and out of a gym since 1990. And so I don't necessarily mind hole in the wall gyms, but gyms here are great. And you get in a little bit bigger town, you've got a little more options. But Salamat kayo. I'm getting back. For the Filipinos, 250, 200. Yes, for Filipinos, 250s are considered big bike. Absolutely right. Yeah, anything above 250 cc, right? Anything above 250 cc is considered a big bike. Yeah, my NX 500 is considered a big bike. In the United States, it's actually a small bike. It's a beginner bike, right? No, you're absolutely right. I have a Honda ADV 160. Yep, I've been driving 50 to 70 kilometers per hour. Yep. I have a 240. My Filipina is 55. I'm usually 6K on the tack. Yeah, kind of wishing I had a 4 to 500 cc range. I'm wondering about the longevity of my ADV. Yeah, I got you, brother. And I'm right with you. But I'm 100 kilos now, or probably over 100 kilos. And my Filipino is tiny. She's like, whatever, maybe 40 kilos now. But yeah, no, you're right. And I would say that, I mean, it does okay with me and her on there. I don't feel like it's too bad. But yeah, so I'm 220 pounds. So I'm right behind you. But if you're talking 240 pounds, yeah. So yeah, I get it. I could see that a little bit. Yeah, I would say, anything more than 300, and I don't know the weight capacity on that bike, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I would say anything more than 300 pounds on that bike, maybe even more than 250 pounds on that bike. And well, with me and my Filipino, we're definitely over 250, and I feel like it's okay. It's okay. Like it does the job. It's not as powerful as my bike, but yeah, I mean, brother, you could look at the NX 500, great machine, and it's Honda. That's just, again, you're going to want to be able to do all this stuff on it, or most of it, right? You're going to want to be able to change your oil, change tires, which to me, I got to get all that stuff. I can't change tires, and I got to get that worked out, because for me to get tires, I got to go all the way. I got like 5 hours away. So that's just one of the drawbacks versus an ADV, where if I had an ADV 160 here, I could just go 10 minutes away and get everything I need for it. So anyways, but yeah, you could look at a lot of bigger bike options for sure. I look like Bruce Willis. I hear that a lot. Matter of fact, my old employer called me Bruce. In the office, they called me Bruce. Yeah, I get that. I get Bruce Willis. I get Dana White. I get Hank from Breaking Bad. Who else do I get? I used to get, I get Jason Statham. I get Vin Diesel. I don't think I look like most of those guys. I do think I probably look like Bruce a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I have a familiar face, I guess. When I was younger, I used to look like, what's his name from Beverly Hills? Jason, Luke Perry. I was told that when I was younger, when I had hair. Blue Lagoon, when I used to have really blonde curly hair. Yeah. Do you have to go all the way to Cebu to service your motorcycle? No, but I do. Like, if I want to take it somewhere, I got like a 5-hour ride. Yeah, probably down to Togum. I still have to figure that out, which is closer, Togum or CDO. I think CDO actually might be a little bit closer, but I know the bike shop in Togum, and it's really good. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll bring it up on the map. Oops, not that. Share screen. Share. And then should just show you on the map. So CDO or Togum. Yeah, here it is too. Big Bike Honda. Now they can definitely do it there. And that's 4.5 hours away. Yeah, that'll be a pain, man. I'm gonna have to get set up here to do change my tires and do all that stuff. So I just don't have a tire kit or any of that. So I'm working on it. And that's another thing I use AI for, right? Pull up all that how-to stuff and teach myself how to do that. Teaching myself investing. It's just phenomenal tool to teach yourself anything. You really have an expert right there in a format that lacks commercials and all that stuff. Really, really big fan. But no, I could go down to from here. I guess actually Cebu could be an option because I could load up if the bike was in like a really rough position or whatever. I could hop on a boat and be in Cebu and get it there. Yeah, so that might be an option. Actually, yeah. Yeah, service can be a joke in the Philippines. Yeah, even going to a dealer, you're expected to bring your own parts. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think, being a guy who's used to just taking it to the dealership. Yeah. And Richard, I know a lot of these guys work on their own bikes, and I just didn't bring tools or any of that stuff, but I'm developing it. I'm getting it set up. But it's hard, when you're traveling around and doing stuff, carrying, having a bunch of that stuff available. Like right now, right? Like I'm in Butuan, all my crap is, in Palawan. I got to move that crap down here. So I didn't really, when I moved here, I didn't bring all my stuff, right? I sold all my stuff and really only shipped over like 4 or 5 boxes. But in hindsight, I wish I would have kept some tools, just basic stuff, a wrench for bikes and all that stuff. I mean, I'll get that here, and I have all that in Palawan, but when you're traveling by motorcycle, on a motorcycle, so yeah, yep, no, good point. Everyone should watch Chris's video, Why I Left the United States from Hate Culture. Hey, Danny, appreciate that, brother. And it is, man, it's why I moved here. It's why I left Cebu. I just want to be around happy, friendly locals, happy, friendly people, want to be financially free, want to just reset. And, yeah. So, no, I appreciate that, Danny. Yeah, thanks, man. John, enjoying your videos. How do you fund your lifestyle and sustainable for long term? Oof. Yeah, that is so first of all, I made good money in the United States as an IT professional. I really did. I was making over 100,000 with benefits, whatever, probably 130. And I had bought a cheap home. I think my home I bought early 2008 because the Obama first time buyer program. So anyways, I bought a home for like 120. My mortgage was under 1,000 and I made over 100,000. So I kept my bills small and I saved. I was maxing out my 401k for probably 10 years easily. And then close to maxing it out for 20 years when I worked for that firm. So that's kind of the strategy. Now the 401k you can't touch, right? Until you're 59 and a half. But I had kind of did that strategy throughout my life. Like I doubled up on my mortgage. So I was paying, not quite doubled up, but I think I was paying around $1,500 or $1,600 a month on a $900 a month mortgage, right? So, and I had lived in that house when we got divorced in 2025. I'd lived in that house then, 2008, 2025, whatever the hell how many years that was, right? And then not quite doubling mortgage payments, but I had a good percentage paid off, whatever, maybe 70%. I don't remember how much equity exactly in a Colorado housing market, which was booming, right? So I had kind of that basic saving strategy, that basic saving mindset through a lot of my professional years. And then in I can't remember what year, like I said, the years kind of get all muched together now, But anyways, right before the pandemic hit, what is that, 2020? My wife and I filed for divorce and decided, you know what, this ain't working. And that was January, and the pandemic hit in March, right? So what I had done in January, we sold the house to pay off the divorce. I had a premarital agreement, but it didn't protect me from all my assets, but it did protect for me a bulk of them. But I did have to, I knew there was going to be some money that I was going to have to shell out. So I sold the house to kind of fund the divorce. So I was sitting on a crap ton of cash. And it's sitting on cash, not a crap ton, but it's sitting on cash. And what happened when the pandemic hit, right? If you guys remember in March 2020, the freaking stock market went like that. It just freaking dove. And what I had done with this cash, knowing that it wasn't going to take me all of it from my house, is I had went like that into the market and saved enough to pay off my divorce, what I thought it was going to cost me. Well, that money doubled, and very quickly, right? Within a year or two, things kind of rebounded. And so next thing I knew, I was sitting on enough money to get me to 59 and a half. And that was my strategy. Is when I started looking at it, I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. And it's scary, making six figures, living on a lot of that, right? Requiring that money to survive, and then saying, you know what? I can live on 24. That was rough. And so that's kind of what I did is I had a mindset early on to save and invest. I had a great opportunity with the pandemic and the markets. I freaking did well there, and then went ahead and just said, you know what, I'm done. And once I did a scouting trip. I came here in August of whatever hell year that was. So I did the scouting trip, and I got back in November, and it was late October after that trip. So I was over Labor Day weekend. So really, technically, I got back early September. Within 2 months, I decided to sell out and move. And then December, I was here, right, of that year. So August did my scouting trip. October said I'm out. December moved. But that's kind of when I looked at my finances and stuff like that, I could get to 59 and a half. And 59 and a half is where my bulk of my assets were. So that's kind of financially how that all played out. And then I wish AI was around then, where I could just really kind of strategize it even better. But whatever, it worked out. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got to where I'm at. And in that strategy and thinking of getting to 59 and a half, it was close. Like I wasn't forecasting any growth in my money. I was saying, all right. And that's kind of what YouTube was, right? I was like, all right, I got enough money to get me to 58, but I don't know about that last year. It's a little sketchy. And I was budgeting whatever, 2,000 a month, right? So that's where YouTube, I was like, all right, I'll start my channel. I'll give it 4 or 5 years to grow, knowing I need to make money. Well, what had happened is those last 2 years that I was here, the markets were doing well. I was making whatever. I was the two funds that I was in, I was up 30%. And having that 30% growth early on, like when that money was sitting there, that took me over the top, right? That took me over what I needed to get to 59 and a half. Now, I still need to be careful. I'm not loaded. I'm not rich by no means, but it did allow me to cut out early from the United States and to kind of do it here. And I'm just grateful that the markets cooperated, have done well. YouTube has not cooperated. I ain't making jack squat on YouTube, but it's fun. It's a hobby. It's fun for me, that kind of deal. But so that's kind of, John, that's the long story and the full story of it. The amounts, whatever, it's, I'd come here with a chunk of money, a good chunk of money. And what's a financial rule, whatever the 3% or 4% rule, I think I would just follow by that with your spending and budgeting, to make sure that you can sustain that over time. So, so my goal is to once I get to 59 and a half, then whatever, right? Between Social Security and even if I don't think Social Security is going anywhere, right? But even if it did, the 401k is more than enough to kind of get me around. So yeah, good for you, brother. Hope you make it out. Digital Aqua Nomad. Hello, Chris. There's so much more to the Philippines than BGC and Cebu City. Yes, The Philippines has so many breathtaking destinations. Absolutely. Palawan Island, Bohol, lush green jungles and oceans. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I love it out here. I love the scenery. I love the people. It's just absolutely incredible. And I agree. Look, nothing to take away with Cebu City and BGC. Nothing. It works for some people, right? It's like potato chips. Some people absolutely love salt and vinegar potato chips. They love them, and there ain't nothing wrong with salt and vinegar, right? There ain't nothing wrong with it. I particularly don't like them. I think they're disgusting, but same thing with Cebu City, and same thing with everything else, right? It's just teach their own. If some person wants to live in Cebu City and have a life there, good on you, right? Whatever. For me, and that's the thing I think most people don't understand. I want to bring this up, and I talk about this a lot, is that the Philippines is it's a big little country. It's just really wild. When you look at Philippines, right? The northern part of the Philippines, all the way to the southern part. I've talked about this a lot. This is a distance that is similar to, am I streaming this? Okay, yeah. This is a distance that's similar to Detroit to Daytona, Florida. I mean, think about that, guys. Detroit to Daytona. And the thing to get in perspective of that is the cultural differences that we have from Detroit to Daytona. I mean, so different, right? You've got the South, you've got Tennessee, you got Kentucky, you got Alabama, you got Daytona Beach with freaking sports cars on the beach, and then you got Detroit, whatever, right? Massive amount of cultural differences between the two. The same goes to the Philippines. You have big differences between North and South, these different regions, they're different areas. So yeah, I mean, if people want to hang out in Detroit and have a good life in Detroit, so be it. People want to live in Daytona and have a good life in Daytona, go for it. For me, whatever. Maybe the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee is where it's at, right? It's up to the individual. Salt and vinegar potato chips. But with that said, though, there really is a lot to see. There really is a lot to just kind of take in, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm just finding what Detroit, what Daytona, what Knoxville, Nashville, what area works for me. What pulls me in, and it's a big area, right? Yeah, really great, really great. Yeah, nature is where it's at. Yeah, it's a nature healing power like no other, as you mentioned. BGC. Yeah. No, but whatever. I just don't. It's not for me, and clearly it's not for you, and I'm with you. But look, for the guys who want that, there's really nothing inherently wrong with that too, right? But I'm with you. I like the more. I love the beaches. I love the small islands and the water, and I mean, just beautiful, right? I mean, let me show you guys a place on a map. One of my favorite places. I've been there a bunch of times now. Is Butuan Island. Just epic, just absolutely epic. And then you go out to this little Virgin Island. I mean, guys, look at this. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Just so beautiful and breathtaking. These freaking islands, and I mean, look at that. Just incredible. I mean, to me, this is, and there are thousands and thousands of places like this. They're just everywhere, and that's what gets me going. These freaking blue waters, these incredible beaches, palms and mountains, and oh, but yeah, man, to whatever, right? Yeah, I'm hoping to move to the Philippines in October. I'm on STI, and I'm on oxygen for the hospitals. I'm hoping to get an ADV 160. Your thoughts? Yeah, brother. Yeah. Great machine. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong. Yeah, so the only thing the ADV is not good at is in the Manila area. Well, and it's okay. You just can't ride on the interstates. So in the region of Manila, they have I think it's a 400cc requirement to get on the highways there. So you're going to want something a little bigger there. But everywhere else in the Philippines, that is probably the most practical machine that you can get. Absolutely. There's some advantages that having a bigger bike. I actually glad I have two. Mayor Rose has the ADV, and I've got the NX 500. And when we're together and just cruising around town, ADV 160 all day long. But when I'm doing these big trips, that kind of thing, I actually really like the NX. So So it just kind of depends. For city stuff and just cruising around and groceries and that kind of deal, great bike. But I do like the fact of a full motorcycle when I'm doing these big trips. I really and the ADV is okay. It just doesn't have the suspension to kind of get through stuff, and if dogs and that kind of deal. Like I don't worry at all about going over it. Like I wouldn't want to hit a dog, right? Obviously, but I don't worry about if I had to ride over a dog. Not a problem on my NX, right? On a scooter, and dogs are everywhere, man. So, and I knock on wood, I haven't hit a dog yet, but it is something to kind of think about as you're riding around this country. Just 1 second, guys. I got to plug in a couple of things here to keep charged. All right, but yeah, no, great, yeah, and well, the other thing about the medical stuff, just have that handled before you come out, right? Like, no, that's in general, you really want to kind of be a step ahead of stuff, especially if it's critical, like medical. Just in like my motorcycle, just being ahead of where you're going to get stuff handled and parts and medical care and your supplies and all that. Just have that handled ahead of time. Also, too, is I'm seeing some repeat comments in here too. I apologize for the time delay. I implement a 22-second time delay on comments, and that's just to kind of keep people who would potentially be here to cause problems. Like, I've had live streams where people are like spamming, like whatever, they'll type one word at a time and ding ding, you know what I'm saying? So I apologize for that if that's annoyance for you. I just do it to kind of self-monitor the live stream in a lot of ways. I'm also thinking of living in a subdivision in Mocktown. Thoughts? Yeah, Mocktown is okay. Let's pull up the map. Hold on. Where am I at here? Add to stage. Here's the thing I don't like about Mocktown, and I'll show you. You're isolated out there. There's a couple things. So here's the Mocktown Lapu-Lapu Island out here. Right off of Cebu. So in order to get into town, you've got three ways to get there, and the traffic can be a little bit congested. Let's just look at that now. So what do we got? We got, Sunday morning at 7:30. There ain't nobody on the road. That's what it is here, local time. And it's, great time to do this kind of stuff. So that's the thing about Mocktown, is you're going to have to kind of get good with the timing of going into Cebu when you need to. You're just a little bit isolated out there. Now, here's how I would like Mocktown. Here's how I would see myself living in Mocktown, is along this resort area here. I knew a guy, Rick, shout out to you, brother. Hope you're good. He had a freaking phenomenal place here on the beach and just absolutely loved it. He lived the resort life, and that was one of the things. This guy was super smart, man. So what he would do is he would travel all around the Philippines, and he would go to these awesome resorts, and he would ask to speak with a manager, and he would be like, hey, let's work out a deal. What would you work out for a monthly price? And this guy, man, would stay in these resorts for whatever, 30, 40 grand or whatever pesos, which, not that much, whatever, a couple $100, right? And that's what he did. And so that's how I would roll Mocktown, is exactly like that. I would try to negotiate a long-term stay with some of these resorts, and then you'd be living the lap of luxury. And but Mocktown in general, you're just a little bit isolated out here. The other thing here with that Mocktown Newtown neighborhood area, I stayed there once for like a week as I was flying back, because it is close proximity to the airport. Which is another factor, right? If you need an international airport, if you're traveling back and forth a lot, sure, why not, right? Mocktown would be a good fit for that. I just, and it's also too, it's super Korean. I know that sounds incredibly racist, and I have nothing against it, but that is a different dynamic when you're talking about the Philippines. When you're around a Korean group, they just they really stay to themselves. They don't really associate. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with someone from Korea in the whole time that I've been here. So they're really, and they're just shy. I don't know. Like there isn't anything negative. It's just a really different versus the Filipinos who are, hey, how are you? What's going on? Kind of deal. They're also shy too, but there's a curiosity there. So that's both a pro and a con. So you'd have good restaurants, you'd have stuff like that were there. You know, the Korean barbecue is phenomenal, but you're in an environment where it's highly touristy by the Korean population in Mactan there. So yeah, for whatever that is, it's something I don't know how to quite say it without, because I don't have any animosity towards any race or gender or any of that crap, right? And there's really generalizations, but that is a factor when you're talking about that particular region, as far as that is a community frequented by Koreans, right? Yeah, it's a weird time of our lives right now where we have to be extremely careful, and rightfully so. Like, and you want to be respectful, right? So, anyways, going on long enough about that. How dependent on your O2? Yeah, smog is going to be a battle. Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. A lot of people have commented about smog and pollution in Cebu City, and you know, being out of it's there. You know, yeah, it's there a little bit in Cebu. I don't necessarily. Honestly, the smells were more something that was there for me versus the smog, but it's there a little bit. Yeah, and the road conditions aren't as good. Yeah, I would go down to Davao. Honestly, guys, I'm a really big fan of Davao. For first-time guys that are coming here, I like it a lot more. Now, earthquakes are something you got to deal with there, more so than any other region. So I wouldn't want to pick a high-rise building in Davao, but I like Davao a lot. Yeah, no, it's a good point. Good point there. Yeah, 2,924. Yeah, man. Rear shock. Okay, yeah, okay. 2024. I got you, Troy. Yep, on the CRF 300 rally. 52 and loving it. I was interested in your nap overlays on your rides. What software? Map overlays on my rides. What software am I using? So that is with the Insta360 camera, and let's see if I can grab it here. I think I have it. And basically what it is, I have the GPS remote. You know what? I don't have it handy. Oh yeah, here it is. So basically what you got is this guy from Insta360, and it looks like a watch. And I just mounted on my handlebar. And this actually imports the GPS stats. So line of sight to this guy on my handlebar. It's really convenient too, because then I can hit record on here. And that'll bring in the stats. And you have a bunch of layouts and stuff like that you can use. But that's how I get that overlay stuff on some of those riding videos, is using this GPS remote. So, yep. Yeah, and it's Insta360. Insta360 is a phenomenal camera. I'm really a big fan of it, especially the new X5. Really do. I like this camera a lot. And it's a big upgrade even from the X4. Really great camera. I haven't used it too much. We actually damaged it in our early on in our Samar trip, so I couldn't really shoot with it too much, but it's fixed and working now. I'll shoot with it. This camera is really, really good. They've improved it so much. It's decent in low light. It's really, really, really good camera. I'm stoked to shoot with this camera. However, it does add a lot of editing. So you basically have two edit processes. So it doubles your work. And that's another reason why I just kind of do one video a week. I'm not, like, some stuff I'll do with, some like vlogging cameras and stuff like that. But a lot of the cameras that most of my videos require a lot more editing than most people have to deal with. So, but yeah, no, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I figured what you were. What's up, brother? Dude, I had to do a live stream. I had to talk about, justify why I'm where I'm at. It's like, man, you change your mind so much. So yeah, you gotta tune in to the beginning, get the full story. Of course, you probably know. Yeah, still looking, man. Still looking. I'm really excited because I got a place today. I'm bouncing out of this Airbnb and I'm going to another one, and they didn't have a unit that was available. Well, they have a unit, but it's different than the one I'm renting. It's same layout and all that. Really excited. 9,200 pesos a month. It looks really modern. The owners are Japanese, so it should have that Japanese perfection to it. Really excited. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm checking it out today. And 9,200 pesos, guys. Yeah, it's $163 a month. Yeah, I think a 2-bedroom. Yeah, really excited. And 2-bedroom modern. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping. So what's today? Sunday. I'm hoping by the end of the week have made a nailed down a place here in Butuan, and then kind of get the move and get stuff set up here. So there'll be a lot of videos talking about that. But yeah, good for you, brother. Good for you. Hey, Newport Richie. Yeah, Apollo Beach. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I used to live in Apollo Beach. I lived in Ruskin. I lived in the Tampa area for quite a while. I know right where you're at, man. Oh, wait. Did we meet, Paul? Did we meet? I met. So I was just down there seeing my son, right? Because my son is back in the Florida area. So I was just down there, and actually, no, the guy I met was Chris. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know. But yeah, I was just down there in Gibsonton, and was just down in that area. Yeah, good for you, man. I know right where you're at. Yeah, man. ChatGPT is a game changer. AI is a game changer in general. Oh wow, I'm that far behind. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah. So that brings up something for me. I just want to say really quick is that I like doing these live streams to deep dive into stuff. I really do, man. You can't do it in the comment section, right? You can't. And I really love these live streams to just kind of jump into stuff. So if I miss your comment or if I don't get to your comment, I apologize, guys. You can shoot me an email. You can go out to my website. You can email me at Chris at carefreechris.com. I think my email address is. But yeah, anyways, you can go out to my website. You can find my email there. Email me. If I miss your question, you want to ask me stuff. I do consultations if you guys want to do some calls. I've done several of those. So, but yeah, I really like the deep dive so I can get behind in the comments. I don't necessarily have a commitment to get through them. I like to, but more of my commitment in these live streams is to just kind of go off and talk about in detail or whatever as far as stuff. So yeah. Yes. Isn't it? Yes. Right? I agree, man. AI is I really invite you guys, if you're not using it, just get in there and check it out, man. Especially free, the Deep Sync. It's just, man, it's such an incredible tool. I use it so much. I'm in it all the time. I use ChatGPT. I spend $20 a month for it. I just started exploring DeepSeek 2, as you could see there, as I showed you guys. That is free, though. You could use that. But yeah, check it out for sure. I'm with you, Troy. I'm with you 100%. All the AIs lean left, in my opinion, so far. The straight questions are answered okay, but opinions are to the left. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay. Yeah. So the bill thing, I did research the big beautiful bill thing, but I don't really use it in a way that is political. Like I'll use it for like researching tires. I'll use it for, yeah, right. Pull it up to a yeah, divorce rate accuracy. There's a funny stat about divorce rate. So I just look up stuff. Yeah, Reynolds criteria, ceiling fan direction, right? So I looked up recently which way the ceiling fan should go if I'm trying to, you know what I mean, in hot or cold climates. So I do crap like that. I just all the time, like basically what you would use for Google. And so a lot of my stuff wouldn't necessarily have a political agenda behind it, but I get it. I understand. And that's, problems with the news stuff in general, right? Yeah. I just, let's see what else. Weather, riding trips, oil change guide. Yeah, for riding, right? So as I'm reaching out to these Airbnbs, I was asking, and I dictate to it. I don't half the time I'm not typing, so I'll dictate to it. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I'm getting ready to reach out to these Airbnb companies. Give me a response that I can send to these Airbnb companies, asking them if they do long-term rental opportunities. And boom, I've got a nice articulated response that I can send to these Airbnb companies, Airbnb, houses that, it's grammatical. It makes sense. It makes me look like, I'm not an absolute moron like I am, so, and, it's soft, it's approachable. So that's kind of how I love it in that way, David. I really do. Big fan. The top floor of Ayala IT Park has a nice gym. Yeah, you can pay daily or weekly. Yeah. No, the Anytime Fitness there. No, you're absolutely right. I worked out there for a year. I trained with Jason. I don't think Jason's there anymore. I shot a video on it, the gym. Yeah, I've got a video actually of that. I did a tour of that. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, nice gym. I can't remember how much it was per month. It's right around 2,000 pesos. So yeah, $35. Yeah. Yeah, gyms can be hit or miss, and condo building. Yep. It confuses me because it leads me to believe that the developer doesn't know what a gym needs and how to take care of it. It's odd. Yeah. No, you're right. So I stayed at Solenia or Solena or whatever the hell the name of it is. I stayed there for a year. Great place right there. You know what? Let's pull up the map. I'll show you guys where that's at. Really good place in Cebu. Really did like this place a lot. Actually, you know what? Can I find it on the map anymore? Yeah, Quest Hotel. Yeah, it's got to be right here. Yeah, it's not showing up on the map, but it's right across from the Ayala Mall. Freaking really good. Let's pull up. Let's do a satellite. Yeah, these big buildings right here. Nice big pool. Freaking whatever, 4 or 5 towers now. Hundreds of units. But yeah, right here is their gym. They have a gym right there. And just like you're saying, it wasn't wasn't set up well at all. And not only that, you had to set an appointment to go work out. So you couldn't be spontaneous at all. And you'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm ready to go to the gym. You had to set an appointment. So it's just incredibly inconvenient. So what I had done is like, screw this. I'd signed up for Anytime Fitness so I could work out anytime. And yeah, big fan. But the gyms they're hole in the walls. They're not super modern. They're not your Planet Fitnesses. They're pretty they're pretty not so modern, but whatever, it works. Yeah. Yes, let's hit that like button. Yes, thank you, Richard. Appreciate that, brother. Honda ADV 350 this fall in the Philippines. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, here's exactly how I'll use AI. I'm getting word that the Honda ADV 350 might be available in the Philippines coming this fall. What can you tell me about that? So that's exactly how I use AI. Freaking love it. Just to kind of check this stuff out, right? And see what we can find. Yeah, I didn't hit search there. There we go. Yeah, it looks like your tips are spot on. Honda Philippines has officially launched the ADV 350, and it's already rolling into dealerships nationwide. Here's a breakdown. So yes, nice pull play there, brother. So the gentleman earlier who was talking about the 160 being too small, there you go, brother. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be priced around 300,000, which is 5,000. Ooh, that might be a factor. Yeah, there's the price of it in US dollar. Well, 5,500, so it's 306,000. Yeah. So that's the price of it. That puts it up close to, so 400,000 was the price for my NX. Interesting. Yeah. No, you're right on. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, that's great. Appreciate that heads up. Yeah, and that'll be a popular bike too. I'm excited to see that. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that you're right though. That could be That could be a big game changer. The thing, man, Jim, we had got off-road, like serious off-road, trying to find this dang cave. And it was fun, actually. I really enjoyed it on the ATV. I mean, it was fun. And just because you're so low, you're on the ground, you can, like, it was like my NX, like, I don't know. Like, look, the NX 500 it's a street bike. It really is. It's an adventure bike, but it really is a street bike. But the ADV 160, man, I was going off. Mary Rose goes off road on that bike because she's got like a little bit, I mean, she's not doing single track, right? She's not doing, baby heads and all that kind of stuff. But it's dirt roads, it's gravel roads, it's there's rocks and stuff. And I was doing that on the ADV. I was doing tree roots and and I could imagine, because it's got an extra little bit of a suspension on it. The 350 ADV, that could be a fun little bike, man. Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Grow could be. I haven't used Grok at all. Yeah, I need to check it out. Okay. Yeah. 10 to 20% should be going into your 401k. Set up a CD ladder. Yeah. And then with passive income oriented 405. Yeah, isn't crazy. This isn't extreme. Yeah. Well, until you max it out, right? Because you can only put in 25 a year on your 401k, I think, right? You max. Oh wait, but if you're over 50, I think you could. There might not be a ceiling. I think you're right. Yeah, man, all good stuff. And you can. So this is what I like about AI is you could actually copy and paste his comment into AI and say, hey, look, let's talk more about this. What are some investment strategies? Guys, freaking the rule of 72, I think, is another one that I learned. Kind of, my dad kind of taught to me early on, and it just, what do they call it? The eighth wonder of the world is the rule of 72 and compounding interest. I mean, man, you're just amazed how money works like that over 5-10 years, over a decade. You're talking money doubles. You're making what, 8-9% interest. That money doubles in what's that, 8-9 years, right? Or 10%. If you're making 10%, that money's doubling in 7 years or whatever. Yeah, really powerful compounding interest. The more you learn to live off of local products, the more affordable it becomes here. Yeah, Danny, you're right. And it can be expensive. You can, I got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee over there. It can be expensive. You're right. Where am I at time? 7. I'm at like a half hour. My bad, guys. Yeah. Hey, Chris, I bought my LDR 2024 PCX 160 ABS in March. Now looking to sell it. Yeah. As she's coming to Canada for education, where would be a good place to sell it? Any thoughts? Well, if you're in Cebu, I don't know where you're at, brother, but you can check out what's that, Derek Q Adventures. He'd probably take it off from you. Here's what you can put it in expat forum groups like Facebook, right? If you go to Facebook and you could post it there and you could probably sell it. If you're in some of the big cities, you could. And honestly, the used market performs well here. I was surprised, and that's one of the reasons why I bought new, is because I was looking at the used market and I was like, you kidding me? For about the same price as I could buy a new one, you're going to try to sell me this used one. So the used market does perform here really well. So I would go to Facebook. Yeah, should be able to sell it there. Yeah, good luck with that, brother. Yeah, I would like to get a sailboat and cruise around the 7,000 islands here in the Philippines, man. So I met this guy who has a Hobie Cat and catamaran, and it's totally self-sufficient, and that's what he does. He's got water creating systems. He's got solar on there, man. And that's a really interesting strategy because it is a way, as a foreigner, you can own that, because it's registered wherever. There are some loopholes that you can do when, not buying land, but leasing land and stuff like that, where you can actually get a home. But a boat is a complete way around that because you 100% own that, right? But and then so I started looking at catamarans and sailing boats. I mean, those things just they go into the millions. I mean, it's just really spectacular what those things are about. But you're right on, Philip. I'd love to do that. Yeah, you're correct on that. Sorry, brother. I'm a little bit behind. Yeah, they're standoffish. Who's standoffish? Oh yeah, the Koreans. Yeah, I don't want to come across as a racist jerk, and I really don't. I don't have any. I judge people by who they are, the character, right? Than anything like that. My best friend down in Colorado, whatever, African American guy, my boss, best friend. I judge people by who they are, not by any of that, not by race, gender. I had lots of gay friends, kind of whatever. So I just don't. If you're a good human being and you have whatever good intentions, I've got room for you all day long. I don't care anything about that other stuff. But when you're talking about Mocktown and that type of environment, and that is something to think about. Do you really want to be around a bunch of other foreigners who are standoffish and distant from you, or do you want to immerse yourself in the Philippines country and around that culture, right? So I think that's important to kind of distinguish as people are looking to Mocktown, right? Cebu City has way better air quality compared to other cities in Southeast Asia. Yeah, I mean, it was there. It was a little bit there as a factor, but, honestly, coming from Denver, Colorado, where the air quality is absolute garbage, it wasn't it didn't feel like it was any worse. If anything, Denver felt worse. That would be a way we could use AI to kind of see, right? Because of that inversion, what you got there with Denver and all the fires and stuff that can come in from not only in-state in Colorado, but other states, California, air quality alerts were really bad in Colorado. The island off of Brobo, Sandor looks amazing. I'll bet I'll be out there at the end of the year. Turtle Island, Vanishing Island. Ooh, off of Brobo, huh? Where the hell is that at? Let's take a look on the map. I'm just over on my iPad here real quick. Google Maps. Where's that at? Barobo. All right. I don't see an island off of there. Where's that? Oh, you're talking. So I see a cold spring there. Yeah, I could check that out. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't show Siargao del Sur. Okay, I'll have to look. I think I'm in the same spot. I just don't see an island off there. Ooh, maybe Vanishing Island? Oh, Turtle Island. Oh, dude, I see where you're at now. Yeah. Ooh, cool, brother. Thanks for the heads up. That's in my neck of the woods. I will be marking that on my map. Ooh, yeah. You know what? Let's pull this up. Let's show the rest of you guys. All right, where are we at? Head to stage. Google Maps. I don't necessarily like satellite. All right. We're going to go. Where was that? Yeah. Yeah, this looks pretty cool, man. Vanishing Island, eh? Yeah, look at that. That does look cool, brother. Yeah, I'll have to. It is saved. Appreciate the heads up. Video to come. Hey, I'll meet you out there, man. Let's go. Let me know when you're going. Too cool, man. Too cool. Yeah, well, it looks good. I appreciate that insight too. I'll have to check that out. You're right, though. That looks good. And that's actually not too far from me. Yeah, it's only a couple hours away. Yeah, 2 hours and 23 minutes. Nice, brother. Yeah, nice. Use 3 during the day and 6 at night. What are we talking about, brother? 3 during the day, 6 at night. I don't remember. Have a good, yeah, no worries, man. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on comments if you've already left. All right, I'm catching up now. Mr. Q, I would like Valencia City and Butuan, Mindanao. Okay, yeah, you will like Valencia City and Butuan. I can't wait. Definitely on my list. It's high up the mountains. It's cooler temperatures. Yeah, I know right where you're talking about. And yeah, let's pull it up. I'll show you. We can take a look at that. Valencia City, yeah, right through here. Actually, I think isn't that right? Yeah, the map's a little bit off, but yeah. Yep, City of Valencia. I'm excited too. I really am. It is on my list, without a doubt. Yeah, right here in the middle of up in the elevation in the mountains. Yep, on my list. Let's see how far that is away. Yeah, Sano, directions. So it is 5.5 hours away for me currently. But yeah, look at that ride though, right? Look at that ride. Just all through the mountains. Gorgeous. Yeah, on my list for sure. I'll be doing that. Hopefully, it might take me a little bit to get set up here in the city, but on my list for sure. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, brother? How's it going, man? How did you find Mary Rose? She is awesome, smart, beautiful. How old is she? Looking for for a similar Filipina. Happy for you, Chris. Yeah, no, she's a great girl, man. She's a good girl. So we had met initially on Tinder, and I've told this story a lot, but it's worth repeating because it's just so damn funny. So she wasn't going to meet me at first, and you know, and so I said, look, let's be friends. Let's not even think about dating. Let's just meet up. Let's meet up friends. Let's have barbecue. Bring whoever you want, right? Just because it makes them feel comfortable. It's not just you and her, right? You got to be really. Look, these girls are conservative. They're sweet. They're innocent. So you really got to be slow moving in a lot of these like good province girls. So that's what I had done and I just kind of say like, look, let's just hang out and meet. So we did. We had met on Tinder, and to our first date, we went down to the barbecue. Our sister was there. Our friends were there. There's like 5 people. We went to barbecue and we hung out. And we, had a meal and we talked. And that was the first date. And then, whatever, we hung out. We had, I don't even know, a couple weeks of dating where, we just, whatever, we'd hang out, we'd go to dinner. And it wasn't for maybe a week that I was like, you want to watch a movie? So we came back and watched the movie, and we were watching Avatar, right? The series on Avatar. I love that. It was really good, right? So we're watching Avatar, and, she'd shared with me after, she's, Chris, I don't know if you knew this, but I never took my shoes off. She said, that way, if I needed to, I could run. So that story just always busts me up. I was always just laughing. So, but yeah, that was our first really just kind of couple weeks, is really just kind of chilled out. A lot of friends involved. We'd hang out, we'd do karaoke with friends, we'd do hikes with friends, that kind of deal. But that's how we met. And she's a great girl. She's sharp. She's sweet. Really into family. She's a traditional Filipina, right? She just really is. She's that girl that we all think about when we think about a Filipina girl, dedicated to family, dedicated to home, just a great traditional Filipina girl. And so yeah, we've been dating whatever, I get a year and a half now, and great girl. So yeah, no, she's great. Yo, Jeff, what's up, brother? Just catching up on your live, laughing my arse off on the Brit stories. God, the guy, look, he's a good enough guy. I think he's gonna figure it out. But my gosh, what a character! What a character! Maybe if he leaned into learn to whistle when he rides instead of New York, but 20K just down on that little twisty dude. Yeah, new city, new adventures. Yeah. No, I'm really excited about Butuan. It should be good. That guy, dude. I remember him just singing songs as loud at the top of his voice. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And it wasn't just that. It was the song that he was singing. It was so it was right around Sinulog. So Sinulog is a celebration, right, of baby Jesus and all of that. And it's super religious. And he's taking this song that is about baby Jesus and he's turning it into a dating song. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It was so many moments like that with that guy. I'm like, oh my, I just got to get away, man. I just got to get away. So funny. But yeah, dude, it was comical. Don't get me wrong. It was comical, but yeah, anyways, new cities, new adventures. Here we are. Yeah. I used three of the two during the day, 302 during the day and 602 at night. I also thought of Tisa and Mandawi outside of Cebu. Okay. Yep. I already talked to Michael for your insurance. Okay, good. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, right on. Yeah, you're doing your homework. Yeah, good for you. Mandawi's great. Sure. IT Park and Cebu City are the big foreigner areas. Mandawi seems great too. But yeah, you know what? Actually, I think if I would go to back to Cebu, I would kind of maybe be in Mandawi. But yeah, no, good for you. Yep. Still going. Had a run to the market. Yeah, I usually go around 2 hours, and we're at 2 hours now. So yeah, it's still going on. I'm caught up in comments though. Where's the beautiful Mary Rose at? You buying new shoes recently, or she gravitated towards flip flops now? She's always been a flip flop kind of province girl, right? She's always been that. You know what? Since I'm caught up, I'm gonna make some more coffee. But yeah, she is back. I think the camera will follow me around. She is still in. Yeah, you guys can see this Airbnb I'm at too. So she's still in Palampon. She's wrapping up a couple last things with school, and yeah, so she's wrapping up a couple things with school. She's going to coordinate the move from there as we move to Butuan. So hopefully in the next couple of days, I actually secure a place out here and can and then have her jump on the move. So we got some movers lined up to move out. I don't know how much it's going to cost. It's just a lot of it too depends on what we find. Like if we get a place that's fully furnished, I don't know how much I want to bring over. I definitely want to bring over my TV. My TV was super expensive. I got a really nice, you can see here the TVs are small. So I have a really nice, I can't remember the size of it, maybe 65 or 55 inch TV. So, and we got a brand new bed and we got a nice couch. We have some really nice things. You know, I spent whatever, like 2,000 US on furnishing and setting up that apartment. So there are some things I wouldn't mind bringing over. But I won't know that until I get the new apartment. Because like here, right, you can see this is furnished. You know, you got couch down here, you got fully furnished place. So now what you could do is negotiate with the people and say, look, I don't need all this stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. So, but yeah, she's back in Palampon. She's, finishing up stuff with her school there. And then, but we're going to pack up and move out. And the plan is for her to come out as soon as that's done. So, so that's what we got going on there. We'll come back here and look at any new comments. Yes. Uncle Baz. Hey, Chris, what attracted you to Butuan? Well, a couple things that attracted me to Butuan was, one, I like this population size, right around that 300,000 mark. I don't know, maybe anywhere above 150,000 up to whatever, 500,000, 1 million it to me is a good sized town. I like these mid-sized towns a little bit, just because you don't necessarily have a lot of the foreigners that you do in some of the bigger areas. You have a lot more, and when that happens, when you're in an environment that is not so inundated with foreigners, is you typically have friendlier locals. My coffee's ready. You typically have friendlier locals, so you have people who are more open to kind of, having conversations with you, saying hi, whatever, that kind of deal, versus Cebu, you're just like, nobody wants anything to do with you in some cases, right? They're fed up with foreigners. You've got guys walking around singing wapaka everywhere, right? So what I like about these types of towns is you have good experience with locals. You have amenities like you would in some of these bigger towns, right? So you've got malls, you've got restaurants, You know, when we were living over in Palampon, where I lived at before, 60,000 people is almost too small. There was one restaurant. There was no coffee shops. So, I mean, you know, and that's appeal for guys like, you know, I could have stayed there for sure. You know, I could have gotten a gardening. I could have opened up the Carefree Chris chicken farm, you know, so it just really depends on what you're looking for. But for me, Butuan was that good sized town, that town where I do have some malls here. Another factor for me, and I shared a little bit about this earlier with Butuan, was the housing. I mean, when I looked at Airbnbs, and this is a strategy, guys, that I would look when you're looking at cities, go out to Airbnb and look how many rental places are available. If there's like an abundance of rental places available, that is a phenomenal place to go to because you've got a lot of options. You know, when you look at Dumaguete and Airbnbs, and then look at the quality of those, I would suspect, because Dumaguete was one of those markets where I'm like, man, I can't find a place to save my life. You know, so just look at that and see what's available, see what you can find. And so that's why Butuan, friendly locals, healthy accommodations and real estate market to find good places, lots of restaurants, decent shopping and malls and stuff like that. So that's kind of was the factor in Butuan. How tall am I and do I have any problems finding clothes? Hondo, I am 5'10" and I think I'm 100 kilos, whatever, 220 pounds. I actually don't really have problems finding clothes. I do order a lot online. I had one of the strategies that I had done before I moved out here is I found, because you can get Amazon, you can get clothes like that out here. I had found clothing that I liked on Amazon, and then I just kind of reorder that stuff and get it shipped here. But you can get clothes. There's a particular clothing store that I really, really like. It's called Uniqlo, and it's what Japanese, I think, or Korean, one of the two, clothing store, and they just make really. I'll show you. This particular piece of gear is just so incredibly important for the Philippines. Living in Colorado, right? I'm used to harsh environments and extreme living, and there's a saying there's no such thing as bad weather but bad gear, and I believe that, right? And so this is the company at Uniqlo. You can't. There we go. I think that's their brand. You might be able to see it. But this piece of gear here is super key. It's actually a sun coat, and I think my coffee's ready. So I'll stand up and move around and show it to you a little bit as a back away. Yeah. So this is a sun coat, and this piece of gear is phenomenal. It really protects you from UV and that as you're riding around. It's got thumb hole. You can really it's got a thumb hole. It's got a hood. An absolute must-have if you're going to be out in the sun for whatever more than an hour. I take this thing with me everywhere, and it was maybe 2,000 pesos for that. So yeah, clothing. I was a little bit worried about it, but I found stuff. This is also Uniqlo, the shirt here, and it's heat gear. It's designed well for heat. These shorts I bought on Amazon, and I do have a link in all my videos for some of this stuff. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with clothing. Like I said, I bought this here from Uniqlo. That jacket's from Uniqlo. A lot of my stuff is from that company. Big fan. They've got a couple of lines that are heat gear and moisture wicking type of clothing that I think is a must-have when you're touring around here, especially on bike, man. You really want to cover up. Now, you could use sunscreen. I know a lot of guys use sunscreen, but I just like covering up is my method for sun protection. One second, I'm gonna switch mics here. The power wears out pretty on these mics now. I've had them for a couple years. All right. I think that's on. Sorry about that. I had to switch mics real quick. Let me just check those audio settings. Okay. All right. Wireless mics. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Have a prosperous day, Chris. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. No, it's been a journey. And admittedly, there's a little bit of like, man, I wish the channel was doing better, right? Kind of deal. And whatever, man. Like I said, though, I had to let that go. I really did. I just let that go. And let's just have fun with this, right? Let's just have fun. Let's not worry about it. Putting out writing videos, of course, 600 people watched that one video. But it's like, you know what? It's all right. I'm having fun. I'm keeping this creature in check, with photography and videography and editing and just exploring, and that's really the goal of the channel is that kind of deal. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It always, you want to put something out that people do, that people watch and enjoy. But at the end of it, I gotta keep myself in check and just remind myself, this is fun. This is hobby. This is not a profession. This is not a job. I don't ever want it to be a job. I want it to be fun. And it was a job when I was kind of doing what I was doing with it. And now that I've stepped back to once a week and, lives when I feel like it and lives when I have some stuff to share and I feel like I can talk for 2 hours on a particular topic. But anyways, yeah, no, I'm having fun with it. This is interesting, Danny. Have you watched Tim K's video about Mindanao? They are good, and I can't believe he sold his channel and shut down all the social media. So this was fascinating to me, and also something too that gave me a YouTube perspective. There's a guy here who walked away from a channel of whatever 180,000 subscribers. Walked away. You believe that? I mean, he built this thing and then just leaves it. I was really blown away by that. And it got me on this thinking of, wow, and again, and going back to YouTube just being a hobby, you really want to treat it. I mean, because I was under this impression and thought, and I think a lot of you guys might be as well, that you make all this money with YouTube and you do this. And here's a guy with, people don't walk away from something profitable like that if it was right. And that's kind of my point is it's just people aren't, you don't make. And then it led me down to looking at, I was watching all these other videos about profitability in YouTube, and people just don't make money on views. You really don't make money on views, especially over time, and if you are making money on views, it's just, man, that's a machine. That is an absolute machine. You're putting out videos, whatever, a couple times a week, maybe 4 times a week. That is just, man, that is more than a full-time job, right? To make money on YouTube. I learned early on, David Bond, right? I'd met this guy not knowing who he was, but saw him on my channel and met with him and had dinner with him and hung out with him. And I hope he's doing good, by the way. He's actually a really interesting kid. Anyways, he had gave me some really phenomenal advice about YouTube. He says, Chris, if you're looking to make money with YouTube, you got to sell something. You got to promote a business. You got to sell something. He says, if you're relying purely on views, it runs out. And it's just a game you don't want to play. So yeah, with Tim K, really shocked about him just walking away from it. Now, I've checked his channel periodically. I don't know what's going on with it. You know more than I do about it. I didn't know he sold it or whatever. I did see Chrissy, his wife, right, post a video about, they're good. They're in the United States and doing whatever. So, it is. That's an interesting story to me, an interesting thing to think about as a YouTuber. And how this guy just walked away from a channel of whatever 180,000 subscribers, and there's this saying about subscriber count, right? Beyond 1,000 with subscribers, which is the requirement to be monetized. So beyond 1,000 subscribers, subscriber count is a vanity metric. It really doesn't mean much. It does, but it doesn't. It means something in if you're looking for sponsorships and endorsement deals and stuff like that. It really doesn't mean anything if that's not your game. But yeah, really, really kind of wild, man. Really kind of wild. And I get it. You know, a guy who's been doing it for a while, you know, like Tim, um, and even myself, you can get a little bit salty. You know, you get people here who don't have the best of intentions. You get guys who are whatever, right? I had a guy show up at my apartment in Cebu City. You know, I had guys show up with my girlfriends, right? Um, so, you know, you put yourself out there, and I get how people can just get fed up with it. I get it. Yeah, it's really interesting though. Really interesting dynamic there with Tim, and you know, a couple of other vloggers who just stepped away. I don't think has Scott put out a video. I mean, has what's his name, Jasper? I mean, all these guys I think are disappearing, right? It's really interesting. So you're hitting up the Western restaurants more when you were solo. What would you guys spend weekly on eating lunch and supper? Not fast food. Yeah, no alcohol, right? Yeah. So last night, Jeff, I bought really nice burger at one of actually a really nice restaurant. I think I shot a video there once before, and dinner last night was, let's just say 500 pesos. Yeah, no alcohol because I don't drink. And so my dinner, and this is a really upscale restaurant, was 500 pesos. I had bought, so I had met with a real estate broker, and we had a salad and a pizza, and that was 700 pesos. Oh wait, yeah, that was 700 pesos. So, and actually the salad served like 3 people. So dinner for 3 was, and that's US, brother. I don't know you're in Canada, but so yeah. So that's kind of the upscale eating out at Western restaurants is about what you'll spend. Not bad. That's 2 people. And that's about what Mary Rose and I spend. Anywhere between, I'd say like 500, 600, 700 pesos is about what we spend typically in a meal. And a lot of my videos, I show you guys the prices and stuff. Yeah, I don't really eat at, what do you call it, Karen Darren's too much, unless I know them, unless like I know the Karen Darren, and unless I really have to. You know, those super cheap meals like the barbecue stuff, you can eat for next to nothing, right? But I usually eat out at some of the nicer places. But yeah, Jeff, that's kind of the meal stuff. And my average budget, I'm working on some budget stuff now. I could do a really good budget video. I'm spending right around 2,000 US a month is kind of what I'm spending. Between my travels and all that stuff I'm right around 2,000. Uniqlo is quality clothing. I agree, brother. I'm a huge fan of Uniqlo. I love the clothing. I have a bunch of it. Like, yeah, the dry fit stuff, the heat gear is really top quality stuff. I've actually had quite a bit. I got slacks now, so my whole riding outfit is from them. Like my slacks, my riding pants, they're heat and UV protectant. Like if I got like 3 hours or so, anything more than an hour or 2 in the saddle, I'm fully covered. Like I've got my jacket, the sun coat that I showed you. I've got also Uniqlo pants also that keep the heat off me too. And it feels good. It really does. It feels good. Highly recommend them. Eva, daily vlog. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, good morning and watching from Bohol. Yeah, new subscriber. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, I hope all is good in Bohol. Yeah, and actually, I think from, you know what, let's pull up the map. I think actually from Butuan, yeah, so if you look at, let's pull that off. Yeah, if you look at Butuan, where I'm at, I do believe there's a ferry that takes me out to, yeah, Hagna. I think there is a Hagna from Butuan ferry. So I would suspect I'll probably be in Bohol at some point checking it out. So I've spent a lot of time in Panglao Island and the beaches areas there. Really freaking Napaline Reef, just gorgeous out there, right? So I've spent some time out in Bohol, and I've been to the Chocolate Hills and stuff, but I've never really rode Bohol. I can't wait to get out there. I got a buddy Kevin out there too. Shout out to you, Kevin. But yeah, I really want to get out and ride the hole. So I would suspect that could be an easy next stop for me too. Is it's just a ferry ride over. That could be something I hit up this year or sooner. So yeah. And shout out to you. Hope all is good there. Yeah, Richard, I'm with. It's just honestly, it's never felt good on my skin. And you're right. I think there has been some. That's another thing you could look at AI for, right? Like, what's the kind of toxicity levels of sunscreens, and are there safe ones? But yeah, I'm with you. I've never. It's just felt gross on my skin, and I just like to cover up, right? And you can see, just look at my hands. You can see the sun coat. Mary Rose looks super funny. She's got a line right across her hand. And actually in the last video, I was like, what are you pointing to? Because she's pointing to something. She's pointing to the tan lines that are in her hand. But yeah, anyways, I like to cover up. Yeah, the sun hoodie from RER, fantastic option. Yeah, invest to bring here. Also, Go Tabs from, Go Tabs. Interesting. Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice, brother. Yeah, nice. Good for you. How much you spending on hair care? You're looking for an apartment, maybe with a pool or a house. So it's really wild here, Jeff, here in Butuan. You do actually have some more housing, like houses. So the place I looked at last night was a duplex. So it had, which was cool. I kind of like the idea of it. It was 17,000 pesos. So pull that up really quick. Yeah, so 301 US. So I'm looking at it all, Jeff. I'm looking at, just really, I really want to, if I can stay cheap, I want to stay cheap. And then, because I still plan on traveling around. I don't really, so when I was in Cebu City and I stayed at that really, really nice place there, and what do you call it, Rockwell? I mean, it was great, right? It was nice and whatever. It was like an 80,000 a month place. Now, granted, I wasn't renting it for that much because I knew the guy and he wanted someone there trustworthy after having someone who really, he had a guy in there that brought in a bunch of bar girls and they stole the TV and that kind of deal. And it's really an upscale place, right? Like the actors and actresses all live there, like the local ones. So it's really like this place. It's a Beverly Hills Beverly Hills is actually the name of the neighborhood right over there. So I've lived in places, but I mean, that freaking place there rented for, whatever US, right? And I didn't, like I said, I wasn't paying that much, but still, right? Even whatever, 50,000 or 30,000 or 40,000. I wanted to stay cheap because you can. And so I'm looking at it, I think I can get, I'm going to see a place today that I think could be it. And, it's right around 10,000 pesos, nice 2-bedroom, modern Japanese architecture. It's good. It could be really well done. So we'll excited, man. We'll see. More to come on that for sure. Fishing supply stores are also sell good quality sun hoodies in the US. Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Yep. Proton. I love that. Good for you, man. My wife is a Filipina and we plan to retire in the Philippines in a few years. Do you know anything about starting a business there? Good, bad, horror stories. I'm thinking about opening a gym. Yeah. So, the thing about that type of thing is I think the consensus out there regarding that kind of thing is give yourself a year. And I think that's right on. I think Paul, Old Dog, right, to quote him, get out here, get a feel for the culture and the community before you do anything big like that. Give it a good year. And then, just because it is really different type of culture out here. One of my concerns about that kind of deal is like the crab mentality. I mean, if you start opening up here's a story of something that happened. I had heard, I don't know this, so I'm repeating this story. But a guy leased this restaurant, opened up a very successful restaurant. The owners of it said, hey, you know what? This guy's running a good business, killed his lease like that, and then took over his business. So That's the kind of shading mishaps that you can have happen here. So, you just really want to get here, figure that stuff out, get your legal stuff set up where you're protected legally in that type of instance, or anything else that could happen regarding property. But yeah, I mean, gyms are great. There's especially if you open up like a gym like Western standards, they don't exist here. They really don't. So if you can open up a nice high quality gym, and interesting, they're really popular here. The Filipinos are really into health and fitness. It's interesting. I see a lot of runners here. I see a lot of joggers. So yeah, you can do it. I would just though, like I said, get here a year, figure out some stuff. Obviously, with your Filipino wife, she can own it, and it would be in her name, and you could be a part owner, but she would have to own what I think it's 60% of it. But yeah, with a Filipino wife, and that would be my strategy also if I would to do a business. Like I'm really, guys, I really want to open up a motorcycle touring business. I love touring around this country on a motorcycle. I absolutely love it, and to show you guys around. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I do it now for free. I just got back from Samar, showing a guy around southern Samar. He and I rode together, right? And I've done dozens of countless guys, or not countless, but probably, I don't know, probably 15 or 20 so guys that I've taken around this country in some of the Camotes and Bantayan, and Britt was one of them, so I've taken these guys around on these bikes. So I would love to open up a business here, but I don't, I as a foreigner, it's hard to navigate. Now, if I had a Filipino wife or something like that, or a Filipino partner, I could do something like that. So you just got to be careful, Proton, for sure. Rome, what's up, man? You have a great positive attitude, Chris. Keep going. Stay happy, my friend. Yeah, salamat kayo. Thank you very much. It's not easy, right? It's one of the things that I've learned in life. And I keep reminding myself that it's a choice. What's the movie Life is Beautiful, right? Like the guy generates really this incredible atmosphere in a concentration camp, and you can do that, right? You can generate happiness really anywhere, but so it very much is a conscious decision. But it's also so much easier to create happiness in a happy, friendly environment. So that was one of the main reasons why I moved to this country, is to put myself in a situation, in an environment where I can generate that kind of way of being, So yeah, no, but I appreciate that, Rome. I appreciate that, brother. Kevin, hey, brother, you should make merch. It's fun. All right, t-shirt dropping. We'll ship shirts, etc. So no real work, and you can make your channel profitable. All right, okay. Do some merch. I could do like a holy mackerel t-shirt, although I don't really say that as much as I used to when I first got here. I should drop some merch. All right, man. I could look into that for sure. Hard time making money. Yeah, hard time making money on YouTube unless you're young, beautiful, and female, and you don't mind marrying bikinis. Yep. Got me hooked a few. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's true. And that's kind of one of the realizations that I had about my channel is like, I feel like a Mormon in Vegas. It's just like I am, I'm not your average guy, right? Just like the Mormon in Vegas. I'm not here looking for teenage girls. I'm not here looking for girls at all. I'm here just trying to chill out and ride my motorcycle through this country. And there's not a lot of guys doing that. Most of the guys here it's about dating. It's about that. And, if you look at really the successful YouTube channels, they're that. And I'm just not about that. And whatever, right? Salt and vinegar, potato chips, to each their own. It's just, I've come to realize that this channel, given what I'm doing, it probably will never be that kind of thing. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. It's really designed to just have fun, keep it light, keep it happy, and travel around and just see what happens. But yeah, man, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, Teespring will drop ship on demand. Okay, Teespring. Yeah, okay. I'll look at that. No, I appreciate that, Kevin. I'll look at gear. I'll look at doing something like that for sure. For sure. How much does Uniqlo gear cost? Like the riding jacket? So that riding jacket was less than 2,000 pesos. Um, yeah. So 2,000. Yeah, I think it was like 1,700. So yeah, not like average price. I guess that's a little bit on the cheap side, especially. I almost think I'll have to look. I think it was, yeah, I think it was 1,700. So that is, it's not cheap for here, but it is cheap if you look at like how that much that would cost. In the United States, that would probably cost twice that, right? You know, I think so. Yeah. So not too bad. I think that's how much it was. Maybe it might have been 1,300 pesos. I don't remember. I bought them a while ago. Actually, I need to get another one because one had disappeared, so I need to get another one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 4 to 6 for basic jackets. Yeah. Yeah. That might have been what I spent. It might have been 13. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm a huge fan of Uniqlo. Freaking that place is awesome, man. My favorite clothing store by far. There's another one too, Decathlon. It's kind of like an REI, and there is one there in the SM City Mall in Cebu City. But Decathlon's another great sporting goods store. It's similar to, like I said, an REI. You can get a lot of good quality gear there too. Obviously, from hell, bribes take crazy long to get anything. Yeah, done there would be negative to consider. Yeah, as far as businesses, I think it just depends on the business. I don't know, right? I don't know. It just depends on the business and what you got going on there. But yeah, I can see. For me, I'm just not in a financial situation where I would need to do that. But a motorcycle touring company, I'd love to do it just because I love doing it. I love riding it, and there's nobody doing it. When I would go to these big motorcycle conventions in the United States, I would see all kinds of stuff about Ride Thailand. I would see stuff about Ride Cambodia, even. I think Laos was another option, but I never saw anything about Ride Philippines. And honestly, the riding here is freaking epic. It's beautiful and it's easy, you know. So it's something I could really do if I wanted to, and I probably will at some point. And it is, guys, it is in the back of my head as I'm looking at these roads, as I'm riding around. I just did the Samar loop. Every place I'm going, I'm casing out where I want to stay, right? These accommodations. I mean, we were just over in Oris there, staying at a really cool, let me show you guys on the map. We were just staying in Oris there. And this accommodations right outside of town there. Where the hell was that? Yeah, Rose Hill. Really nice resort. I mean, just incredible, right? I mean, check that out, right? This really nice cafe, really nice pool, and yeah, here's inside the cafe, and yeah, here's all these accommodations. So as I'm riding around checking this out, I was like, this could be a place I could take a group of guys. So it is always kind of there in the back of my head. But Danny's right on, right? Do you want to open yourself up to that headache? It just depends on what you want to do. But yeah, like quote Paul and those guys, get a witty year before you do anything like that. But yeah, it is a different business dynamic, but not something to completely avoid. You could do it. It's just going to take some stuff. Yes, Butuan to Hagna, and next to Hagna is Garcia, going to Tagbilaran side. Okay. Oh, nice, man. My boyfriend here in the Philippines from the U.S. will stay in Panglao. Yeah. Panglao is great. Yeah, nice. Yeah, okay. So just confirming I can go Butuan to Hagna. Nice. Yeah, that might be an easy trip for me to do right away. So I'm sure I'll be in your neck of the woods here soon. Yeah, and if you want to, whatever, chat, do some videos, we're more than welcome. I don't necessarily do a lot of collab stuff, but whatever. I'm not against it, provided that it's a good fit. Yeah, Richard, see you up there, man. Safe travels. There he is. There's Xavier. Yeah, he might enjoy your new adventure in Butuan and northern Mindanao. Don't miss Camiguin. Can't wait to check out Camiguin. If you've not been there yet, go do Kamigan and Bohol, easy route. Yeah, row ride. Yeah, Xavier. And you had asked a question in my last live, and I wanted to answer that now since you're here. And it's in particular in regards to, I'll pull it up on the map, in regards to riding in Samar. Oh, not that one. Share screen, share. Okay. You had asked me about riding in Samar in the road conditions. So I wanted to follow up and say that most of Samar, like the southern, eastern, northern, and all the way down to, I'd say, kind of right around here, where the hell the name of that city is. So that all is fine, right? 80-90% of Samar is fine. This section, though, down to Tacloban, so right around kind of, I think that was a city right here. Yeah, anyways, this section down through here is a little bit rough, but it's not that bad. You had sections of maybe whatever 30 yards or so that were really kind of washed out, severe pothole. You can get it going slow on your bike, and but not bad. So yeah, since you were here, I wanted to reach out and let you know that. Is that instant coffee? I'm loving the Krispy Kreme medium roast on Amazon. Not too bold. No, brother. I've actually got, let's see if the camera will track me here. I've got, yeah, I got me some Dunkin', man. Some Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut. Yeah. And I just do a pour over. So, yeah, Mary Rose ordered that for me on Lazada. So, but I've also found, I've got another, I don't think I have it nearby, but there's actually some local roasts too that aren't too bad. So, and I just do pour overs, and I actually take that with me when I'm traveling. I've got that stuff with me. So, but yeah. Merch, huh? Put me down for one of the ukulele. Gosh, someone was asking me about that the other day about the ukulele. It's freaking my icon, right? I'm in there, but I have not. So that picture, actually, I was still in Colorado. I was in my wheelchair and recovering from my accident. That was one of the things that I was doing to keep myself busy, was playing the ukulele, trying to learn it. But I have not picked it up since. And it's part of my picture. I need to freaking learn how to use the ukulele, play it. So on my list to do is pick up the ukulele again. Dan, oh, what's up, brother? How are you doing, brother? Thank you for the super chat. Nice to see you. Just logged on. Where is the new home base? Here until the 19th and the 30th. Looking good and living the dream, my man. Yeah, good for you, brother. Hope all is good there in Mocktown. Yeah, he's the guy that's making it work out in Mocktown and then living the good life out there. So appreciate the super chat, man. No, things are good. New city, new town, new adventures, back in Mindanao. Hope you're good, man. Hope you're good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good morning from rainy. Dude, is it rainy out there? Balayan? Yeah, it's interesting too. I've kind of been cruising around with some locals here, my real estate broker, and they were asking about the weather in Leyte, because I was saying I've been living in Leyte the past year. They're like, oh, is it super rainy? I was like, well, they do get rain every day kind of deal, but it's usually a quick shower. It'll be interesting to see what the weather is like here as I'm starting to live here long term in Butuan City. I think this is one of those good pockets of weather. You don't get typhoons. You don't really are not in the earthquake zone like you are down in Davao. So I'm interested to see what the weather's kind of like down here and what it'll be like long term. But yeah, a little bit rainy up there. Yeah. Well, we're caught up in comments. What else do we want to talk about? I think we're pretty good. I kind of showed you guys a little bit of the Airbnb. So this place I'm in does have an upstairs. You can see the stairwell behind me. It's the bedrooms. The bedrooms in the Philippines are kind of small, to be honest with you. They're tiny little rooms. The accommodations are a lot smaller in general, but yeah, it's got 2 bedrooms up there. Not bad. I think you could probably rent this place for somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. I think $20,000 would be on the high. I think a good deal would be around 15. I'm still kind of figuring out this rental market in Butuan, but super cheap, man. Super cheap here. I'm liking it. Jeff, speaking of the accident, any residual issues like and arthritis when it's rainy? Brother, I'm doing well. I have, knock on wood, right? I have not had any issues. And I had major, one of the guys that I'd met, he's not a surgeon, but he worked in the industry. He actually was a medical supplier. So he would work in the operating room next to the surgeons. And he had sold a lot of the hardware in my hips. And actually he brought some stuff with me. He brought me the titanium screws that I have in my hips. And he was telling me, he says, Chris, because I showed him my x-ray and he's looking at it like, holy crap. And it was taken right after my surgery. So I had my hardware in and I've got 3 screws. So I broke both my hips. I've got 2 screws on one side. Can't remember which. And then another screw on the other side and then a big plate in the front. Right. So, he was telling me, he says, Chris, I showed this to some of the surgeons. I don't know a surgeon who would do that operation. He says, you don't know how lucky you were. It's because I had broke both my hips. So that's why I was in a wheelchair for 3 months, because I was non-weight bearing on both legs. Right. So, yeah, so other than really the year-long recovery, so I sat in a wheelchair for 3 months and my legs just went to crap, right? And I wouldn't say I had to relearn to walk again, but I had to retrain my muscles to walk again. And that was hardcore. My knees were like swelling up like freaking softballs. They were just really my body, sitting down for 3 months as a 50-year-old man, 50-year-old individual. I mean, that was hardcore. And so it took me probably a good 6 months after I started walking again to get where I was okay, just walking and walking normally. But no, thankfully, I'm running. Well, I'm not right this second, but I'm able to run. I don't have anything like that at all. No arthritis, no pain, nothing. And just so incredibly lucky to have the outcome that I had out of that rest. For one, I could have been killed, right? But 2, yeah, I have no limitations other than trying to get back in shape, right? And when I first got here, I had a hard time getting up off the ground, that because my core was just cut in half, my abdomen muscles, right? So I really lacked a lot of abdominal strength, and I got in really good shape just about a year ago, but then I've been traveling around. So yeah, no, Jeff, full run, no issues, no pain, nothing at all. Yeah, really, really lucky, man. Really lucky. When you spoke of working on your bike, it made me think of another positive for getting a local bike like a Skygo. Maybe a good idea because they're cheap and everyone and their uncle can work on them. Kevin, it is one of the things that's opened me up right now is if you want to own a motorcycle and you're not necessarily mechanically inclined, Honda ADV 160, you can get that, like you're saying, anyone and everyone can work on that bike. Or, if you want to get a bike like mine or a bigger bike, you're going to have to either learn to do your own work or have your tools. That's another thing, man. And then having your tools doesn't make you as mobile as maybe you'd want to be. You got to change tires. You got to have all that stuff, right? And so, yeah, a tire changing kit, a tool kit that's why for me, I really want to get a nice base set up where I can start getting that stuff again, where I can have tools. And I mean, I don't even have an oil wrench to freaking change my oil. So yeah, no, you're right, man. You're right. Yeah. Seems I'm too old for having arthritis in the ring. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I'm just so grateful and thankful to not have any residual things from that accident. I mean, like nothing. I mean, my physical therapist, because I saw her, man, she was just so incredible. I know she doesn't watch, but shout out to Jenny out of that that physical therapy thing. I mean, she definitely saved my bacon, man. So because I was struggling. I was, hyper professional, used to go, and she saw that. And she was like, all right, Chris, we normally don't start physical therapy till the guys get out of the wheelchair, but you need it now, if anything, mentally. So she was like, come once a week. We'll get you going, man. So right off the bat, right? Like she was getting me do stuff like things I could do in my wheelchair. And guys, I would get out every day and I would be wheeling down my hall, doing exercises in my wheelchair, running up and down the freaking corridor. I'm an active guy. I'm not, I'm a hyperactive guy, and I need crap to do, so thankfully she realized that and had me doing stuff. But so I think that was part of the thing too, where I just didn't, because I was so into it early on. I don't have a lot of the issues that I could have maybe have had. Yeah, no, brother, I am. It's funny. I have to remind myself. I really do. I am incredibly lucky in so many ways. Now, look, I'm not loaded. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not whatever. Well, maybe I am a millionaire. No, I'm not incredibly wealthy. But I am, man. I am lucky, man. I am so freaking lucky, and I've got a pinch. When things are not necessarily bad, but when I'm looking at my life and maybe there's certain areas or stuff that I want to be different. Dude, I'm traveling around this country on a motorcycle. I've got a great 22-year-old girlfriend, and I just, man, yeah, I am super incredibly fortunate and lucky, and have to remind myself of that. Dan, Butuan should be a great fit for you. Yes, if I recall, Erica and her family are next door. Yeah, you guys are. I was just looking at that on the map. Never hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Yes. Yeah, now I have a reason to visit there. Absolutely, brother. Come on down, man. You've got a great setup there. Yeah, you've got a great little setup there right on the beach. Quiet little town, super quiet. Yeah, I was just, as I was peeling through there on my way, because I came down through Surigao City. But yeah, you know what? Let's give a shout out to your guys' resort again. I mean, heck, you guys let me stay there for free. The last thing I could do is I need to promote it. I know you're not asking for it, but yeah. Where was that at? I thought I had, cause on the beach. I have my yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, come stay at this guy's place, man. Yeah, the pool is really nice. I stayed in this spot right up there. I had that unit right in the middle. So yeah, guys, so cool, man. Appreciate again you guys letting me stay there. That was really cool. And so yeah, you're about an hour if I do directions. Yeah, an hour and 44 minutes from where I'm at, or 1 hour and 1 minute. Oh, that's an interesting little route along there. Ooh, along the water. Oh, that's kind of cool. So, but yeah, no, appreciate that again, and how that worked out. Oops, I didn't add that to stage. Here we go. There's the resort. Yeah, you guys check that out. About an hour away from where I'm at. Yeah, here's the, since I wasn't showing that earlier, I stayed right in that middle unit. There's a nice pool. Yeah, really good little place. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Good seeing you too. Come down, man. Come down and check it out. Yeah. Oh, hey, I get the uke. Yeah, get the uke, learn a tune, write a song, and serenade heroes for our next B-Day. All right. I need to get a uke out here. Maybe they sell them. I actually had a really nice one, but the girl I was dating before Mary Rose, I gave it to her because she was playing with it. But yeah, are rental prices in apartments really low there? Yes. How does it relate to Palampan? Well, and that, Kevin, I shared about this a little bit earlier, and it's one of the reasons why we're here. We couldn't find anything in Palampan, and we had one place lined up. It was great, right? Like new construction. Yeah, really nice, brand new. But when I had went there May, before I went to United States, we went and checked it out. And it's like, yeah, this will be great. I'll go back to the United States. We'll check in and that. Well, crap. We had got back from Samar, whatever, a week ago, or not even a week. And we went back to look at it because we were having problems with our AC in our current place, right? And the current place was too small. It was just a temporary spot. So anyways, short story long, we had went to back to the construction place and looked at it, and they had made no progress. So, and then we had looked at several other places before that, and they're really just none. You know, Palampon, when you're in some of these towns below 100,000, your options are really limited. Not only that, finding them is a little bit hard. Real estate brokers really don't exist there. You're definitely relying on Facebook Marketplace. So we had thought we had timed it well with the university being let out, right? So there would be less college students, so we could find a property. But after looking at everything, we just really couldn't find anything. So the rental market here is phenomenal. It's great. Lots of Airbnbs, lots of places. I've looked at, I think 3 or 4 places so far. I'm looking at 2 potentials today. I keep reaching out to Airbnbs, and that's kind of been my strategy is I'll go to Airbnb. I'll look at places. I've got email message ready to go to a place. If it looks good, I send them a message within Airbnb to go look at a place. So that's been my strategy, finding a place here. And so far, the price range has been from 9,000 to 17,000. So yeah, rental places here are really looking really good. Hey man, look into adventure bike specific toolkit. Everything to work on your bike in the run. Yeah, tire levers and all sizes for your specific bike. Travel ready. Throw in your kit. Yeah, no, you're right, Troy. I had tire spoons. I had all that stuff. I got rid of them when I came here. Like I said, I had a 10 or a 700 fully decked out. I've got pumps and stuff like that, tire kits. I've got a tire patch kit now. I think I just need a basic metric set is all I'm missing now. I've got a good set of Allen wrenches. I did ship that with me. I just need a decent metric set, and I need an oil filter wrench, right? And then the other thing I need, honestly, is a tire. I would like to get a nice tire mounting system where I could easily mount and remove tires pretty easily. I think Yami Noob had one that he mentioned in a couple of his videos that was super simple, a bigger unit that laid on the ground. And then a simple tire balancing kit, right? Like those are simple, right? Like you can set them up on like a spindle thing where they spin and you can just check the weight. So there's just a couple, it's not impossible, but would be some things I would want. Yeah, just simple stuff like that. A nice measure kit. Yeah, no worries, dude. Yeah, you're fine, man. You're fine. Yeah, I kind of read through it. My mind works weird like that because I too. It's one of the reasons why I like dictating and typing in AI and then using that for a lot of my replies and stuff is because it'll fix all that grammatical stuff for me. I'm the same way. My mind is a little bit, I don't know, dyslexic or whatever. I'll like read a word and then forget the words even there and read. So long story short, I could read through a lot of that stuff because my mind works the same way. If you ever want to learn guitar when I get there, all right, yeah, brother, I'll take you up on that, man. I will take you up on that. Yeah, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. Oh, nice, brother. I would love to. I will definitely take you up on that. I would love to learn guitar. It's always been, so I played the saxophone in high school and I was pretty successful at it. I played for several years, did private lessons, right? The whole deal. Started in middle school and played through high school. Was in the marching band, or not marching band, but symphonic band, jazz band. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I have a little bit of background in music, but it's been high school since I've done any of that, right? And so I barely remember anything. I'm sure it would come back at some point, but but yeah, I would love to pick up guitar and play guitar. Guitar and drums were both something that I'd really want to. I think drums fits my kind of lifestyle a little bit, but yeah, a little ukulele on the beach somewhere. I like that idea, and I need to pick it back up again. So I will definitely take you up on that offer when you're here. I appreciate that, man. Well, guys, 3 hours of streaming. Wow, can't believe it. Great stream. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the conversation. Really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate everyone being here. Really, no, thank you. I get just as much out of it. I really do. I hope you guys get something out of it. I assume you do, but I really do. I get a lot out of it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the whole process of YouTube and creating videos and filming and I enjoy it. So appreciate you guys being here, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much. Salamat. Ampin ayo ayo. Be the good wolf. See you guys.